Welcome everybody here to the top 5 plays of the week from Esports U. Clutch Key helping to bring you those top plays, so let's get things started. In Valorant, it's the Loyola Maryland Greyhounds taking on the Army West Point Black Knights, taken to map number 1 on Icebox, and the Greyhounds winning the pistol round, so it's looking good for them to go up 10-4, but with the Marshal, it's MIB Police from the Black Knights on the case.
At the same time, but that opportunity won't be afforded. D-Sung, though, could turn this into a rifle, potentially more. MIB Police from the Raptors doing work with the Marshal and might even present a greater threat. Jumping down with the classic, turn into a right-click hero. A Marshal in hand, and MIB Police secures a 4K. Force round be damned.
A heroic play from MIB Police, but it would be the Black Knights taking Icebox and winning the series 2-0. Let's go to Rocket League with the St. Lawrence Saints and the Bengals of Buffalo State. Down by 1 in game number 3, and the Bengals are looking for that equalizer in the final minute of the game. Luckily, Jesco decides that, yeah, overtime is probably a good thing going into the last minute.
It's hard in order to even think about getting an insurance goal here.
Oh boy, it does feel like SLU as well, just trying to play survival mode. No, maybe they're thriving instead. A good bouncer from Elmo Fingers does get past one defender. Turks moving this across the width of the field. The pinch, finding the midfield here. Good catch from Jesco, putting a shot on target as well. Jesco!
Overtime, it would go in game number 3, and actually the Saints would win overtime, but as for the series, it would be all Buffalo State taking the dub 4-1. Overwatch 2 action with the Great Danes of Albany and the Spartans of UNC Greensboro. Third map on Havana, and the Great Danes want to cap first point in just under a minute. But Magix has a trick up their sleeve, and in fact, they might have more than one.
Out of here, they want to get that kill, and they're doing it. Jesse, they are doing it. Now Magix is back on the field. Lobs Nick's head, oh my gosh. Showing Volks in the business end of that too. The payload is still being contested, and it's all, oh my.
Not only is Magix won a sniper, but the Spartans had a one of their own in the form of a broom, as the Spartans would go on to win the series 3-0. To League of Legends, where the Polar Bears of Ohio Northern take on the Dukes of James Madison. 12th minute in game number 2, and the Polar Bears want their second dragon. On the Kean, though, Shomi is about to show us what robbery on the Rift looks like.
Great rotation onto this. They got the first dragon. They are likely to pick up the second here, and the Shomi can somehow make this work.
Well, they're trying, and over the wall, they got a ward and said snipe. And the steal! The steal from Shomi said you only...
Dragon stolen, and even with the kill lead, the Polar Bears also got that stolen away. In the end, Dukes would come out with the dub 2-0. Let's head to Overwatch 2 action with the Aggies of Utah State taking on the Rams of Colorado State. Down a map on Nepal, and the Rams need to make some sort of comeback to force map 3. Well, a crazy team fight leads up to why Death Trap lives up to the tag.
You're going to be in a great position. This Dragon Strike might be able to create some separation, but Cass is just taking heads.
Cass rolls the head of the finish right now. There's the Terror Search. Is he going to find anything? Is the question. Immortality View happened to be used. This Death Trap finds a triple. Oh my goodness. Death Trap finds a fourth. He's going to find the team kill. It's now the Rams would force map number 3, but the Aggies were too strong for the rest of the contest, and the Utah State Aggies get the sweep 3-0. To Summoner's Rift in League, where the Aztecs of San Diego State take on the Spartans of San Jose State. Game 1, and all the advantages to the Aztecs 30 minutes in, and Devour on the Caitlyn makes sure it stays that way to march to the base.
Half health. Actually, with the Chaos Storm dropped as well, that might be the go button as everyone follows the rock, and it's not going to be enough off the outset. Goku shut down in the back line, and it's all falling apart for this fight that San Jose chose to take. The ADCs are all together. Piao picked up a kill on the backside. Tabula Rasa's surviving forever. Eventually,
the Aztecs would go on to win game number 1, but something clicks in the Spartans, and San Jose would win the series 2-1. To Valorant with Andromeda taking on the University of Houston Scarlet team. Map number 2 on Fracture, and Andromeda wants to push A site, but Binko is sitting around the corner, and even with little to no utility, Binko just finds a way to make heads roll.
1-for-1 trade, make it 1-for-2 as Slorth takes down Altier, trying to trade for Orchid. Binko now trapped in a corner. They're shooting out the Prowlers, and there's not a lot of places that Binko can go, but now only Slorth being the one peeking. Oh, Binko! What was that?
Binko calls bingo on the ace, and it would be Houston who calls game on Fracture as they win the series 2-0.
To come through, it's just playing aimbot.
And that's it from Top Plays of the Week from Esports U. Thanks for watching, everybody, and until next time, this is Clutch Key signing off.
can't say that. I'll get in trouble. There's one for each game, so teams this weekend, somebody's going to have to explain to TSA why they're coming home with an extra trophy. Fine. We're fine. This is going to be great. Why is everybody staring at me? I'm not even doing anything yet. Is it because I'm in a suit? It looks nice. It's new. I'm stressing. It's all right. We win these. We absolutely win these. I've never seen us lose these. I love him. I don't remember his name. What is going on, everybody? And oh, are we ready? I'll start over. Okay. What's going on, everybody? We are here at the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup 2022 in Atlanta, Georgia. The players are just now entering the arena for day one. A lot of them had the opportunity to be here yesterday to get jerseys, to get familiar with the area, and to get to know one another. But today, the friendly gloves have to come off, and they are all here. Earlier, I was talking to these guys. This mannequin, when they didn't have anything else set up, I could see it from all the way down there, and I thought it was a person. And I stood there for like 5 minutes, and I was like, why is he standing like that? And I thought it was like a smooth criminal. I thought somebody was giving us like a Michael Jackson impression, and then it was a mannequin. I was really embarrassed to admit that. Oh my God, that's a lot of people. Hold on, let's go over this window. Let's go over this window. It just keeps going. There's so many people outside. There are so many people outside. We're gonna interview people when they come in. I don't really want to go outside. It looks like it's gonna rain, and this suit is new. So, oh, there's Doc Haskell. Hi, Doc. How are you? He brings a full notebook with him and like writes notes down. It was pretty insane. He had it yesterday. He's gonna be coming through this metal detector right here. I don't know his name though, but I recognize his hair.
Jen.
You're Jen. All right, we're gonna interview Jen, who's supporting Kennesaw. I'm gonna ask you like a couple of very simple questions. Okay. Are we ready? All right, great. College. I really like Georgia College's color scheme. It's just red, white, and blue, I think, but in a really clever way. Mineral area, wearing hoodies, even though it is 75 degrees outside here in Atlanta, Georgia. Absolute legends.
If only Nick could hear you. Nick, come back.
If he's over 100 feet away, he can't.
You were whispering something, and he started smiling. I'm like, are you whispering?
Oh yeah, because he's got his headphone in if we're close enough. But
Bless you.
Gesundheit. Gesundheit again. You're welcome. I'm gonna go find him. Oh, there he is. Oh my. Oh, okay. Real stuff is starting. Real stuff. Competitive integrity needs to be upheld. We gotta get out of here. Yeah, I don't want to get in trouble. I get really embarrassed when I get yelled at.
30 is
Okay. Wow, it's not 10:30 yet.
It's only barely 10.
Woo! All right, it's gonna be a long. Hey, what's up? Surprise interview. Join me over here. We have a cool backdrop. What are we here for?
Rocket League.
Awesome. I'm not going to ask what school you go to because unless you swapped hoodies, that seems pretty clear.
Nope. You know, I got my jersey on with my name on it.
Oh, you do? Show us your jersey. Look at John T. Turbo here. Yeah, that's not his name. I just keep calling him that. Yeah. His name is John, but
my name is John Turbesi.
Yeah, that's not John T. Turbo.
Yeah. I get the message that I'm going to Nebraska where I met you.
Oh, that's so crazy. So context, if we're probably never going to use this, but I want to talk about it. Turbo and I met at a LAN like over a year ago. That's so crazy. What is going on, everybody, and welcome back to the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. I am Sebdolins, joined by a man I have interviewed probably well over 10 times. It's going to be my good friend Neb here from Bay State Overwatch team. Neb looked at me before he started his last series, and he said, we are not dropping a map for the rest of the day. And so far, he has lived up to that title. But Neb, is there anybody you're thinking, we've got to get them out of the way, we've got to take them down?
No.
No? Just looking at it, each fight's its own, every game? Going into it, just taking it as it comes?
I have the confidence right now that we're not going to drop a single map.
I love Neb because not only is he confident, but he's correct. Bay State is one of the best Overwatch teams I've ever seen. So it's always good to hear. I love the confidence, and I love Bay State, so I hope they do a great job this weekend. So what qualifier, did you win a qualifier to get here?
At-large bid.
We're looking at Rocket League. We're thinking high odds, low odds. Where do we think we're walking away?
I think pretty high. I think we're doing pretty good.
Is there anybody that you're looking at, you're like, please do not let us go up against them unless we absolutely have to?
I mean, really, everybody's good competition, so.
And sorry, what was your name?
Ethan.
Ethan from Mineral Area.
Yep.
Very exciting. Well, Ethan, good luck.
Thank you.
We'll see you soon. What kind of pass? A player pass?
Let me get you a lanyard.
No, you actually have to like tape it to your chest, like really awkwardly with masking tape.
Okay.
And it's gonna fall off. Yeah. It's gonna be uncomfortable, I promise. That's a guarantee. Okay, cut that, I'm gonna sneeze. Okay, good. I'm great, everything's good.
Who do we interview?
We're at the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. Let's make some noise.
Oh, and it's gonna
jumped into it. This corner judge is good for 1, 2, yeah. He needs more.
They're doing even more here. You gotta touch the point. Mr. College walks it in.
Toy Boy is gonna drop.
Knife him.
Right out front.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Running.
Hello and welcome, Rocket League fans. We are here, and we are live. Little Rocket League action coming at you, collegiate style on the day, which is the norm here for the ECAC. I'm FBI Tugboat. I'm here with Tiny. Tiny, how we doing?
I'm doing absolutely amazing today. We get to see these collegiate Rocket League matches. We're really getting down. We came into this bracket with, I believe, 48 teams playing in this competition, and we're just about to get into round number 3. So close to getting to that top 8. A lot of teams have been seeded out so far, and since it's single elim, one of them will be going home today. The other, one step closer to securing a spot in the Arlington LAN, which will be coming up pretty soon.
Oh yes, that is May 5th through 7th, folks. Everything is bigger in Texas, and one of these teams of the 48 will be able to see that one in person. The Commissioner's Cup going down there in what I have been deeming the esports mecca. The Esports Stadium Arlington. Absolutely amazing place. If you guys haven't gotten to take a look at that, then you're missing out. Of course, if you can't go on there, all of those competitions will be broadcasted here on the various channels. There's obviously going to be so many competitions that we can't do it all on one channel. We'll get into that when we're still about a month outside of that so far. On the day, we got the 36th seed, the Marist Red Foxes, taking on Stockton Blue. Now, Tiny, this is a 13th seed taking on a 36th seed, so the storyline, the narrative is kind of already laid here, but comebacks and everything else is the name of the game for playoffs.
Yeah. Hey, you say the storyline's already laid, but I take a look at the match previously that our 36-3 Marist Rocket League previously played against the 4th seed. Actually ended up winning that in a 4-3 matchup, so that does bring me to question, how well is that 36 seed really representing Marist as they're heading into this match against Stockton? I mean, both of these teams did have narrow victories in their past weeks, both going all the way to those full 7 rounds, and I'm curious to see if that's going to be the same case today. We've seen both of these teams compete all season. Both have had their strong points and also some points that can be improved upon, and it all really does come down to today. Only one team can move on.
Exactly. One will get a clap on the back and a good job making it this far. One of these teams will be punching their ticket on to round number 4. 48 teams, though. There's plenty of Rocket League more to be played after this one, Tiny. So it's just another stepping stone to the eventual goal that is the grand finals. Now, folks, again, there's 48 different teams involved. We are not going to try to boil down all the results and everything else like this, just in general, especially on Stockton and Marist side of the bracket. We have seen only 1-4-0, right? Only 1-4-0 sweep. Everything else has gone all the way down. I have just put the league spot bracket there in chat for you guys to follow along with. On the day, we got Tones, we got X or External, and we got Shane making up your Marist College Red Foxes squad.
The other side for Stockton, we're going to be starting out with Valk, KevDog, and Fantasy to open this one up. And speaking of open, that was almost a very open net for Stockton to open this match up. I know both of these teams were warming up in competitive just prior to this match. So we know that they've certainly played a fair share of Rocket League already today.
Yes, they have. No such thing as coming in cold to the playoffs, of course. On board with Valk. Valk trying to keep this one out. Now KevDog spending all their boost to get this one decently centered. X give him the business, and X will give it to you as this is now mid-pitch. Speaking of giving it to, that's Shane right there, the accepted pass. Nunya Tones over here, or just Tones, foist this one over to the right side, and now it's going to be a little bit tougher for Shane to get this one grounded. Little demo action there. Players getting physical already, Tiny.
Oh yeah, they're in it to win it, Tugboat. We're gonna get physical. We're gonna get aggressive. It is everything on the table to make these matches come out. And already a very nice shot from Shane. Will be locked away on the backboard. Both teams still kind of getting comfortable in this competitive environment. I'm sure they're feeling that very high level of pressure right now, especially with how much we've been playing off this backboard. We haven't seen too much corner play. It's been very centered, which is quite interesting. And to see that these teams are taking a lot of these risks or even finding themselves in risky positions in terms of where the ball is actually taking place, where these kind of little skirmishes, how you're trying to set up these passing plays. And I think that's got to be the name of the game here. We need to see more of these plays. You're not going to get these huge open net opportunities very much at this level.
Especially teams that are putting down 4th seeds, Tiny. They're not going to get many open net type situations on this. Shane actually going after the defender right there. That was almost money. Speaking of passes, those kind of aggressive, almost like enforcer plays against the defenders as your teammates coming up and trying to get this ball up and centered is just as important. Now across the middle, Shane or Ehans right there. going to be able to come forth, block that one out. Now X or External going to be getting a little bit of something going, but Virusy has read this book, knows the author, and checked it out from the library.
Certainly did their research. I mean, basically you're looking at a lot of these plays, we haven't seen them connecting so much. We see these great runs, kind of down midfield, these individual dribbles. Like, yes, they're great to see, but they're also incredibly readable. When you get to this level of gameplay, you're not going to get away with such typical events. You need these crazy highlight reel level plays to be happening, or you need to see this insane teamwork, these setups, these rotations, because right now the control has really been back and forth. There hasn't been one team that's come out on top, one team that has been decisively the one with this greater amount of shots.
Yeah, 100%. The fact that External has actually been held to 0 shots so far, kind of surprising right here. Tones obviously more of their offensive juggernaut, but now Virusy trying something. Val going for the defender yet again. I gotta say, Stockton maybe a little bit more of an edge right here when it comes to kind of the awareness on defense. As I say that, close one right across the bow. Maybe just to let them know that you're there. X up to it. That's a really weak clear. That's much better there for Tones.
Much better there to get that one back to Tones. The amount of clears that we've seen so far is pretty ridiculous, but it makes sense for where the scoreline is. The fact that we haven't seen any of these goals or really incredible saves that have been necessary because we're taking such long plays. We're not keeping this close distance. Shane had a good opportunity there. Tones almost on the follow-up. I mean, I think that MC and Marist has done a great job of trying to control this one, but because these clears are so large, the control of the ball, whoever is the one with that possession, flips over so quickly. Teams don't have the opportunity to really adjust and make these plays accordingly.
Yeah, and when this is such high-paced, fast Rocket League, it's going to be hard to get together as that cohesive 3 unit, but the Stockton squad is just simply doing a little bit better of a job on that one than the Red Foxes. This pack has simply got to hunt together, Tiny.
Oh yeah, Fox gotta hunt together to actually get that end goal, or, well, really the prey. I guess we're gonna follow that same fun storyline, because you just have to. You just have to in this moment. And hey, maybe that's what you need, a little bit of humor in these final 30 seconds of the match, because it has been scoreless, a whole bunch of nothing this whole time. And of course, it's been very interesting to watch. And what I find even more fascinating is that neither team, they're not taking risks right now. They're not doing anything too crazy. And I just say that we do things a little bit more crazy. But hey, we're in the final 10 seconds. We're looking to go to overtime here. If somebody doesn't do something absolutely ridiculous to set this one over, it looks like we wanted to be toned with that last statement. But that ball will be touching the ground, and we're starting this one off with an overtime already.
Once again, Tiny, given that we have only seen 1-4-0 in their side of this 16-team bracket, I am unsurprised in every way, shape, and form that this is going to be going down to a game 1 overtime.
Yeah.
Pair that with the fact that, like you mentioned, both of these teams just not really trying to get hyper aggressive and always leaving a player back. And also, I mean, 0-1 games are literally my favorite Rocket League game. It's not necessarily an overtime, because that can sometimes show that both teams are just way too timid to try and go forth and make offensive opportunities for themselves or their teammates. But 0-1 regular time, chef's kiss is the best way to play Rocket League.
It's clean, it's concise, you're doing exactly what you need to do. Realistically, all you need is 1 point here to push yourself over the edge, and especially in overtime, that's just going to go ahead and end it. X has a great opportunity to do so. Will be bouncing off of Valk and wants to get that clear as quick as possible. Actually, a nice pass setup over to Shane on the other side. That one isn't going to connect either. We really got to start seeing a little bit more of this commit, this timid play. Isn't going to get anybody too far. And finally, that window of opportunity will be found by Tones nonetheless. And Marist will be taking round number 1.
Yeah, not surprised right here. This finally comes off the back of a defensive a defensive demo right there, right? Yeah. Stockton losing a defender to the demo ever so briefly. Couple minutes of overtime foisted out just like that. Taking a look at the numbers here, that is 7 total shots for Marist. That is 10 total for Stockton. So what that means, of course, is a quality versus quantity type question here. Tiny, Marist simply made more from their offensive opportunities, didn't necessarily just constantly rack balls against backboards.
Yeah, you know what? If you're on target, if you're going to be very articulate and careful about how you're playing, you better hope you can be precise with where you're putting your shots. And overall, the statistics are very well rounded. There's nothing particularly that's going to stand out to you. I mean, across the board, you have Virusy over here with 5 shots, the most on their team by a decent margin. Well over half of them, you're trying to set Virusy up, or rather, they're setting themselves up. They've been going for a lot of these individual plays that haven't been working out because the defense has been very strong on the side of Marist. So you can take all of these shots that you want, but it needs to be actual quality over quantity.
Yes, again, quality over quantity, and I think that this is the game that's spun up yet again. That Marist College is the Red Foxes here on the left side going to be able to go forth and take a game number 2. Now, this is a best of 7. I believe we said that, but best of 7 here, so a game 1, really not that big a deal. I would say the biggest factor here in game 1, Tiny, is the fact that Stockton got shut out.
Yeah.
It could have been a 2-1 game and still the same score difference, right? Still a relatively lower scoring game, but the fact that Stockton put up a donut, put up a 0 right there in that scoring column, got to come forth here, because now Stockton's looking at, what is this? It'll be like 7 minutes and change, counting the overtime, with no goals actually made in.
And that's just going to keep going longer and longer, and until we see that same cohesion that's been displayed by Marist throughout this time. They're going to stay in the lead. They're going to keep doing what they want to do. I mean, they're playing so incredibly defensively when they need to. They're keeping it relatively toned back on the offense, which is fine. If you can strike at the right moment, great. You go ahead, pull that out. But when you're going for these plays, you need to understand what is exactly is your win condition. We saw that demolition on that last defender ended the very first game here. And we're getting into that territory again where we wanted to see our first regulation goal. Stockton, they really want it right now. We can tell they want it. They're getting a little bit more in there, but they have to be very careful about the risk they're taking at the same time.
Yeah, speaking of, this is Marist on the backboard. There you go, Stockton. The drought is over. 1 minute, 6 seconds into this game number 2. And what's surprising to me is that X literally stayed back that entire time. Tones was actually way closer to the ball and to the offender and kind of like the playmaking position there across the center of this pitch. But it's X that just is kind of left like twisting and turning, burning boost in the middle for no value whatsoever. They kept a player back that entire offensive push in the entire first minute of this game for 0 value. And that matters most.
If you are going to commit somebody to the back, they need to be doing their job. It's as simple as that. Granted, you're down a defender when all of that is happening because of that demolition, which has been the only reason we've seen these shots actually come through throughout all of this, has been because of these demolitions. And when you have teams that are working like clockwork, they're making these constant rotations, then yes, these demolitions, that's how you're going to throw them off. Quite literally destroy a piece of that machine.
Yeah, just temporarily make the numbers a little bit better for your side. Solid hit. That's going to be too high, but definitely dangerous. Still continuing on. Valk! Nicely done through the air. And we have our second regulation goal and our first actual lead, right? Lead of 1, no real lead indeed. In the great game of Rocket League, as they say. But 2, the insurance goal.
Yeah, you know what? You take the insurance goal. That also means that Stockton, all right, you don't need to be playing as aggressive. You can afford to kind of take it back, tone it down a little bit, play it safe how you need to, but do not let your guard down by any means. You might think you're safe, but these things can change in just a matter of mere milliseconds if you are not careful. So seeing Stockton already being playing in their own end is not a great look for them as they're returning from this 2-0 lead.
Yeah, and at this point, the next score really, it really solidifies this game. That's also why we kind of call it the insurance goal, right? Like kind of the precipice. Either it's Marist that scores 1, and you bring it back to a 1-2 scoreline. Even with 0-0s up top, you just got to keep that ball alive. Or it's Stockton going up by 3, which at this point it seems like an insurmountable lead, given that we're halftime through. We only have 3 scores across, what is that, like basically 10 minutes of 10 minutes of Rocket League, 2 minutes of overtime, 5 minutes of regular game in game 1, and now 2.5 minutes. Yeah, something like that.
And you do all of the math, and suddenly you're like, oh, okay, I guess this is how we're going to be playing Rocket League today. Very, very slow paced. You're not seeing this high action type of play style, which you don't need to if both of these teams are, I gotta say, they're pretty evenly matched. Even if somebody was to take a risk, I feel pretty confident in saying that the other will be able to capitalize on that, which is a good chunk of the reason why they're deciding to play the style that they are, where they're positioning their players, how they're forming those rotations, because they respect their opponents, they respect their ability to really come back from being down.
Ooh, Tones, okay, great job reading this one out. Oh, back to center pitch we go. Virusy, the main shooter here for Stockton.
Ooh.
Some really flashy play, and then just some really basic defense. Like that is one of the great. Ooh, hoo, hoo. Tones right here puts it right past the head. A shot across a bound. That's gonna sink the ship. Marist College brings this back to 1.
Look at that. That is Tones being in the right place, or rather Kev being in the wrong one. Was there, had the play in mind, but just mere centimeters away from stopping that ball. Hey, that's why we call the insurance goal, right? We're down to the final 80 seconds here in the round. You're still up by 1. Not much of a lead, one that can easily be broken. We know that these final chunks of time tend to bring out either the best or the worst in players. We suddenly start seeing all of these crazy things happen, whether it's some sort of psychological warfare or a plan in general. That's just how these final games go. You cannot let yourself slip away from that in this desperate time.
Always got to keep the nose to that grindstone and that objective in mind. 50 seconds or so right now. Marist has eventually got to pour it all into offense. A loss of one, loss of 2, loss of 5, doesn't matter. A loss is a loss, especially given that you took game number 1. Don't want to give up this lead in the series. Nice hit there from Shane down bottom. Nicely done. Marist College has tied this one back up.
Look at that. That's what they needed, Tugboat. We needed to see these kind of crazy highlight plays. You talked about the backboard. We're playing too much backboard. I don't think that was too much backboard. Finally, one of them worked out. Maybe 1 out of 100, but you're eventually there. We're tied up once again in these final 30 seconds, which, you know, we've already seen one from Marist. They're starting to find their grounds once again. We haven't seen anything from Stockton in the second half of the game, and that's very well going to need to change, or we're going to find ourselves in another overtime.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised again with how evenly matched these two teams are playing. We get a second overtime out of 2 down bottom. X gets his hit just a little bit too high, and that's what I'm talking about. Backboard play. That's not gonna. Yeah, that's not gonna go. That's not gonna play right there. 5 seconds to go right here. A little bit of volleyball tip situation coming in just a second. Down bottom and overtime we go.
Overtime we go for game number 2. Makes more sense. Much better than heading into overtime 0-0. These are the overtimes that we like. These are the ones that are exciting because, you know, both teams are very capable of scoring. The question is, what is going to be the thing to tip them over the end? So far, it's been these demolitions or just straight up not being able to get to that ball in time, making these speedy reaction plays. Turn it over, and we know, well, the last time this happened, Marist, they found their grounds. They're able to get that last goal. They almost did right there again, but once again, we love the backboard today. It's the best friend of the match.
Oh, 100%. I mean, if you like, my point is, if you're gonna put the shut up, you have to make sure that a teammate can accept it, because otherwise you're literally just giving over possession with a couple extra steps.
Yep, free pass.
It's like an own goal with extra steps, perhaps. I don't know. Kev Dog. Nice little flick with the undercarriage right there. Shane or Enos going to be giving up possession yet again. Vicery forced to come in, get involved in this one. That's just to maintain possession. There's the big defensive clear the Marist has been looking for.
Finally going to get that clear. Get Stockton in a position where they're playing back in their own net, but these hits just simply don't have the power behind them to get them out of the danger zone. They're committing all 3 players to the back line. Well, I mean, that's what's going to happen. You're doing a 3v1. Marist are only having X go up to the top, and okay, Kev Dog, just go ahead and get that one in. What in the world happened here for Marist? They had 2 players back there, Tugboat. This should not have happened. It shouldn't. These things don't have. They don't. No, I refuse to believe it.
And X just lets sleeping dogs lie on this one as Kev Dog finds the overtime goal here. 484 on the points. That's more than everybody else except for Tones. Again, I was just simply surprised that Tones came fourth, didn't get fully involved in that game number 1 until the overtime type situation, right?
Yeah.
But 1 from Kev Dog, 1 from Valk, 1 from Virusy. All of them assisted as well. All off the back of 3 shots apiece.
Yeah.
9 total right here. Also, kind of putting out Marist. Now, where my mind goes to afterwards is X's demos, right? 7. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, X has the same amount of demos as the other 5 players, his 2 teammates, 3 opponents in this match right here. I think a clear-cut theme is being established right here, and X again is going to be in hockey be called the goon or the enforcer or something like that. The player that is there to interrupt the other team and what they're trying to do.
And the enforcer was doing her job. And I think that you say that, and I looked at the saves, actually, on the side. They had 1 save, and there were 2 goals scored against them.
Oh,
that's not a great rate right there. And certainly a change of pace since the previous match. They stepped it up a bit more on the offense. Since they were committing, they had a few more players playing more offensively. Then they're able to capitalize on these opportunities better. They're going to catch their opponents off guard, but you also run the risk of these comebacks in that back half right there. That was 2 goals scored within a minute of each other, just to get that to an overtime scenario. Second game in a row. So if we keep seeing these things play out, we very well could be heading to a 7-map series once again.
Yeah. Hey, at this point, would not be surprised. Folks, what I want you at this point, you guys have been really good in chat thus far on the season. If you want to fill up that chat with who you think is going to go forth and take this, we're all about it. We're all about it. There's going to be the first goal here, and early for Marist. Yeah, 25 seconds, Tiny. That's the fastest, or the quickest goal, I guess I should say. Not speed-wise, but the quickest, least amount of time between kickoff and goal that we've seen so far.
It was the quickest amount of time. Usually we have these longer periods of downtime, but we got to highlight all that happened there with Marist. Not only did they have all 3 players going up on that ball, but they also got a demolition in on that too. And I believe it was X who was picking it up, continuing to be that enforcer that is necessary for Marist to push themselves to the top. They've identified that win condition and how they're going to play to it. They need to do that more frequently though. 1 goal lead doesn't mean too much. We've said it time and time again.
Time and time again. Saw another casters have said it before here. A lead of 1. I mean, we've only seen a 2-score lead and what, one score total game, a 5 total score, both in overtime thus far. If I was forced to pick predictions, then I would change the subject here, Tiny, because these are 2 very, very evenly matched teams so far. We expected this to not be a sweep either way. We're getting exactly what the doctor ordered. Down bottom, Virusy with a super dangerous hold. That was a little bit lower. That had been the first goal here, for the second goal, excuse me, for the side of Marist.
They were looking for it, and honestly, they almost had it. They're doing much better with interrupting defenders when they're going in on their aggressive pushes. They need to continue to see that. They're giving themselves more close calls, making Stockton really sweat what they're doing, and how they're playing carefully. Yeah, it almost turned out very poorly for them. They have to keep both tones and
my
goal.
God.
Oh, no, the slow motion! Oh, the trickery, the fake outs. Oh, that's just it right there. Seeing KevDog get that one in. I mean, look how slow this was played out.
Wow, yeah. KevDog didn't actually need to ram this one in. It makes sense to have done it up close and personal because any of these players might have whipped around at any given time. But yeah, better to be safe on that one. Once again, second goal here in game number 3 comes off the back of physical play. Not necessarily to get a demo on that one, right? If you can get that bump, which is what they did, and they forced the other defender to flip away. To kind of getting scared that they were going to be the one who took the hit on that one.
Yeah, we talked about this in the very beginning. We need to see
double demo.
This game continue to come out, and they had the opportunity there with that double demo. You're not going to get it, so we're just going to go for these large clears down at the other side. When we continue to see these large clears come into play, that shows you that there isn't really anybody to receive the ball. You're just trying to give yourself a break, hope that you can regroup in time to interrupt the team before they're able to reset themselves.
Yeah, and resetting always comes off the back of this ball simply going to mid-pitch. That's where this ball... Oh my God, KevDog does it again.
That was a great shot from KevDog, but also Marist, look at this first shot that was put on. You had all 3 players on Marist go to try to block that shot. So when KevDog comes in, you suddenly have 3 players that are extremely out of position. Nobody is there back in the net, so that for the first time, we are going to see that lead swap back over to Stockton.
Yeah, so that's going to be, that's going to be, like, a really kind of surprising performance on the defense, right? We've seen a couple Stockton double-ups on offense and on defense or whatnot, but like you said, all 3 members right here, gotta wonder where the comms were for that one. It's important, folks.
Yeah.
Some of the communication. Oh, yeah.
Gotta talk to people. We can't read your mind. I mean, that'd be kind of cool if you could.
Make casting a lot easier. I'll say
It certainly would. You know, we would just have to sit here. We wouldn't have to move our mouths, worry about ruining our voices. Oh, that would be lovely. But nope, not the case. You get to hear our lovely voices for the duration of this match, which has been a pretty competitive one so far. Hitting those final 90 seconds again. This is where, Marist has really started to come alive. And, you know, that whether that was off of Marist being in good position or Stockholm being far away from where they should have been, I don't think there's going to be any complaints from the Red Foxes.
Yeah, but KevDog and Valk are sitting down bottom and just literally to get nothing more than a front row seat for free to this tying factor. 90 seconds left on this one. We are back to a true neutral situation. Do we go to overtime for a third time here, Tiny?
It's only
oh my
we have
God,
to go to
Valk
overtime,
no.
but no. Yeah, I think Valk's done with overtimes. We heard even before this too that when we were waiting to start a little bit because one of these comp matches ended up going to overtime that lasted about 5 minutes long. We're just destined for overtime today. That's how these things work. So Valk wanting to be done with it, I do not blame him whatsoever.
Oh, you know what it is? These players know that if they go to extra games, they don't do interviews. They got the jitters. They got the jitters. They're nervous. They're nervous. They don't want to give the interviews. That makes sense. That makes sense. They're just be swapping games all the way down to like that game 6 or so, and then then the competition really going to come out. Nice block at the end, but again, I'm just kind of surprised that Marist's defense seems to be so like unanchored, right? Like just now, that player came from the exact opposite corner. There should be at least another player there near them, especially if it's a transition into defense type situation. It's just simply not there. X has basically pitched a tent in front of their net right here, and sometimes just not there.
Yeah, the tents don't last very long. You give them a slight breeze, sometimes they'll just fall over. We need more of a brick wall kind of being put up, especially in these last couple seconds of the match. And we're kind of yet to see that. Marist, they're falling apart in a way from what we've seen in the first round. Honestly, you call that more, was that goal that they scored really the reasoning for them winning the game, or the fact that they were able to hold that defense together for long enough? Because right now they're starting to struggle, and Valk will make sure of that with a beautiful double tap to put this one to basically an end.
Yeah, Red Fox is closer to an extinct. This is going to be the situation where they basically have to come for it. They basically have to win kickoff or take it away like 2-3 seconds afterwards to score with at least 1 second left to get a kickoff and then get to triple zeros. That is not what the doctor ordered. I'm going to say that is probably game unless we see a huge clear into goal. That's not going to happen. Stockton has done it in game number 3. The first time we did not see an overtime victory. Might be 5-2, might be 3-4. There you go. Stockton takes Game 3 with the first actual lead I feel like we've seen so far, Tiny.
By far the most decisive game. There's no real argument to really be said. That this is just how it's been. It's been the most goals that have been scored. We've had a 2-0 come through, and then, I mean, you can take a look at these stats, see how they've gone, and there's even been a shift. And look at the shots. Specifically, we have 12 on the side of Marist. Meanwhile, 7 for Stockton. The first time that they're going to be out of balance, but here they are with 4 and 2. That efficiency simply has gone up, and I also think that's got to do largely in part with their improvement on the defense.
Yeah, I mean, the assists coming through for 2 of these as well. Plenty of saves. 7 total saves for Stockton. Marist only with 3 right here. That what this tells me is that even if Stockton didn't put up more shots attempted and whatnot, the simple fact that they rang true on 4 out of 7, better than a 50% efficiency ratio on that, Tiny, that is exactly what Stockton is going to be able to use to come forth in these next games. And if they're allowed to do this again, we're going to get the same result.
Yeah, Stockton took a little bit to get comfortable here, but I think they've kind of found their ground. They found that balance of where they need to be standing between that line of aggression versus passive play. Once you start to play these matches, they start to get long, and you need to be able to keep focused. But when they are longer, you have time to understand, how is my opponent playing? How do I need to adjust to match that? And Stockton, they seem to have figured that out, and now it's on Marist to figure out the same.
Whoever figures it out first, I guarantee, is going to take a game. Whether or not it takes Marist a couple minutes or not, it's really going to be the deciding factor. Because Stockton takes this, we will be staring at a Red Foxes squad. They came out, took a game, was able to pitch a shutout even, right? No scores for Stockton across 7 minutes or whatever, and still not going to matter. That would be brutal here. Even if, again, the Red Foxes are that 36th seed taking on 11th, or excuse me, not 11th, 13th in Stockton. That's going to be Stockton striking first here, though.
I gotta say, Stockton has looked so much better because Valk has looked so much better. Is suddenly really coming alive here. Has scored their last 3 goals in a row for their team. The final 2 at the end that pushed them over the edge, and the first one here in the 30 seconds. So Stockholm's going to be the ones, or Stockton coming out of the gates with that statement that they need to set the pace of this match. Keep that momentum carried on from the previous one. If they can continue to do that, they're winning that mental battle. They're winning the internal one. Now it's just up to how are they going to play on the field to continue to push this lead forward, because clearly they figured something out that Marist have been unable to counter.
And getting these counters in is just always such a quintessential part of Rocket League, but back and forth, basically a minute burned off of this one after Stockton strike first right there. Marist, a little bit of defensive capabilities. Tones sends one back to mid-pitch. Valk just meets it immediately right there. Ooh, almost another one there for KevDog.
These shots have been rolling in. Just look at the difference in pace, the difference in control from all of these series. The possession has been largely in favor of Stockton. There's not too much argument to even be said about that. They've come alive. They've come alive.
Yep.
They've found that answer, and they're pushing their advantage.
What, 8 seconds, maybe 9 seconds or so that Marist actually had this ball out of their defensive side. Valk's already struck once, and they have a save on the other side. So this is about 2 minutes into this game for Tiny. We're looking at like 12 seconds or something like that Marist has actually had offensive opportunity.
Which is ridiculous to say for the time bank that has been allotted. They're starting to look a little bit better. I mean, hey, we get to see some orange on the field for once, but that's instantly cleared out by Valk, so Tones has to rush back to do the same for their team. But you've got KevDog in the center of these plays. They're starting to come to light. Look at these passes coming through. The speed isn't there, however, to actually make any sort of difference. It doesn't even matter, though. The lead is still in control as we hit that latter half where Marist have been able to come alive. This needs to be the turning point, and it's got to come soon because KevDog has just gotten that insurance goal.
Yeah, so that's going to be the second right there. Dial up Progressive. Get up Jake over there at State Farm, right? Little Geico Gecko, whatever. You write up the policy, except the premium folks, because Stockton University has just purchased themselves a new lease on life.
Now they have to sponsor this stream, just because of that. That was awesome.
Yeah, all 3 of them too.
They do,
Progressive,
I know.
State Farm, and Geico, right?
And make sure ECAC directors maybe look into that one now, just to make Tugboat's dream come true here. We're looking forward into this match seriously though. Okay, KevDog almost with a third. This is dangerous territory. Marist are playing in. They're playing with fire. They're playing on the quick side. Whatever you want to call it, whatever dangerous tutorial thing that there could be, that's where we are. And for that reasoning, Marist, they're falling apart right now. They're losing. They're losing that same ability, that cohesion was showcased earlier on in this series. And you can't afford to do that, because if Stockton end up winning this next game, suddenly you're going to be on match point facing the brink of elimination, which is not a spot either of these teams want to be in, especially this early.
Yeah, I mean, early, middle of the game is definitely going to feel late.
Yeah.
Especially down 2, 90-second drill right now. What do you do? This is the literal 90-second drill, right? Not just down by 1, not just down by something you can worry until 000s to take care of. Down by 2, what do you do? That's what the tone is going to be set at. Marist College finally coming alive. About 75 seconds left in this game number 4. A game 4 that they honestly pretty much have to take. Down 3-1, forcing basically the full reverse sweep.
You got to take this one. I mean, the tone was just set. And actually, that was a pun that was possibly very intended. Either way, Marist, they're back on the board. This is suddenly a winnable situation for them, and it's got to happen now. This has been the time where this thing's starting to happen. They're boiling in the pot, and it's starting to boil over. Stockton, they don't have that same control. They can't control that burner. They're the ones that are stuck on the back foot, trying to deal with this sudden change of pace. And Marist are just throwing at them at full force, because we're finally playing in at that other end, and you got to be careful of what risks you're taking. 45 seconds still remaining, and finally that clear is going to come through for Shane, and there's not a lot of players to be able to get back to Stockton.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of, though, Stockton could... I mean, they don't get into the keep away situation, right? There's only 30 seconds left, and this is still anybody's game 100%. If Stockton was still up 2-0, then we basically just see like big clearing balls from Stockton to just waste this time out. As it is, Marist College still has it. That's just a little bit too high. X almost. X almost gave it to you.
We wanted it, Tugboat. We wanted the overtime.
We did.
But no, it just flew right over their heads. And with us being in Marist's end, I don't see this one going anywhere in time soon until X walks it in.
Oh my
God. Tugboat. Oh my gosh. That could not have gotten any closer.
Wow. Gotta be eclipsed 100% there, people. That is
wow.
Absolutely brutal. That was that was the difference of what, like a couple quarters of a second, you know?
Well, Stockton, they really played that down to the very, very last second. Whew. And this could take me a while to come down from that one.
Yeah,
that was something.
That was something else. Stockton takes this one largely off the back of just continued offensive pressure. 8 total shots right here. They actually get the same amount of demos and the same number distribution as well. Virusy, though, gotta say, Virusy has just simply gotta come forth, get a little bit more done right here. Even if you're playing defensive positioning, which I think they only got 1 save or so, 109 shots over a 5-minute Rocket League, especially a 5-minute Rocket League game that had multiple scores in it. It wasn't just another 1-0 like we saw from game number 1. That's the only thing about Stockton right now that really draws my attention to it in a bad light right now. This is Marist now. You got nothing. You got nothing left to play for. You got to win this game right now to try and turn this series around.
Something isn't working, Marist. Something's not working here.
Yeah.
Whether it is the sudden confidence that is coming out from your opponents that you aren't able to counteract, or the fact you don't have that on your own. I mean, this is just Stockton. They're confident. All right. That's kind of all I can say about this. Kevdog got out there early, wasn't enough time to set up. We're going to get one of these traditional kick-off goals, which is absolutely not what the Red Foxes needed. Looking at where they're sitting right now, they're on the brink of going down with only 1 map, which would be quite a shame after the insane match victory they took last week. And Stockton coming into this as the 38th seed, we've been pointing out this earlier, that number is not looking like anything at this point.
Yeah, so mid-pitch right now as Tones tries to pick this one on up. X gives us a solid hit. This is going to land mid-pitch or so. I believe that would take away over on the other side. Just back and forth we go. We got we got a little ping-pong match going on here, Tiny.
We've seen volleyball, we've seen ping pong, we've seen soccer, and another rule number 1 going on off in the corner, I believe, is what we just passed by. So we get to see a bit of a change-up. How are these guys going to play with 2 players up? Nope, we gave up the rule number 1. I'm so sad. No more rule number 1, but we will be returning to full strengths, and that's very respectable to do at this point. Forget rule number 1 when you're on the brink of going home.
And this has got to feel so much closer for the side of Marist than for Stockton. Yes, that's the tying factor right there. Yes, that's what the Red Foxes have. But again, it's one of those things. you both. For us, we can acknowledge that this is a reverse sweep situation every way, shape, and form. This is basically a best-of-5 reverse sweep, right? 3 required in a row, can't even lose a single game. That tying factor does inspire hope, it inspires joy, and so you should keep it in your life.
You have to, right? I mean, the door was wide open there for Marist. I mean, I don't even know where Stockton was at that point in time. It's like they want this one to go longer. I'm kind of convinced at this point. Maybe they just want to take this one the distance to challenge themselves, because that is the 2nd time in a row that we've seen shots like this that haven't really been too much of an offensive thing, more of a lacking on the side of the defenders.
Yeah. I can 100% agree with you right there. Like the offensive shots have not quite been, or have been like a little bit better than the defensive. But when it's not the defensive, it's just like a lot more obvious, I suppose.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, then scores come afterwards, I suppose. So they are actual markers for them. Tones across the middle. This is going to be X trying to pass this one to Shane. Actually, that was a decent little shot until Valk just kind of got in the middle of this and broke it on up.
the disruptor with the side of Stockton. And that player to be X on Marist, but I haven't really seen either of that too terribly much. When we've seen these demolitions come through, they've been very impactful as the outcome of the game, especially when we're taking a bit more to the skies. We're playing at this faster pace when being down for those 2 seconds can seem like a millennia. When you don't have that player that you're relying so heavily on, there aren't a lot of people on the field. It's a big place that you have to be, a lot of spots to cover. It's not easy to cover all of them, especially when you only have 2. I need to see a bit more of this aggression from Marist. They want to get Marist. They want to get themselves that extra security point to put them up and even give them a chance of winning a game that is in the regulation time. It's going to be now. We know they come alive into the second half. We got to see that Tiny Shiny Patent Pented in second half buff, but that actually might be going in favor of Stockton for the business the pace we're heading.
Yeah, speaking of, I mean, we've had a lot of like this similar kind of look. 2 minutes left right here, 2-2 in the scoreline. It's going to be a tying factor most recently. Off a kickoff, I'd say Stockton has been doing a little bit better. X now, actually, excuse me, putting up a name right there. Twisting through the air, and Valk easily gets this one taken away. Tones up close. No, it's Virusy that sends this one flying to the heavens.
Straight up to the sky, back to KevDog. To make something happen on this offensive end. Valk with a nice shot to the center. Shane's still there to interrupt. Going to take this one all the way back down to the other side, but with nobody really there to realistically receive that. We see a lot of, when we continue to see these long plays, they're not setups, they're just to give your team a break and make something happen. But that is something that happened that Stockton certainly needed to. Look how far this went from Virusy all the way to Dog. This is an everybody coming back kind of play, and maybe a little bit of an angle.
Yeah, so Marist right here is going to come forth, unfortunately, and have to be playing from behind this last 90 seconds or so. The good news is they just did basically this previous games. Now Tones, back foot. X almost gets gifted this one perfectly. It's their birthday, December 24th or something. Now run back the other way. If Stockton strikes again, this might be just too much. That's brutal. Virusy now second goal in this game. We talked about how Virusy kind of had to pick this one up, Tiny, and put a little bit more in. Well, I'd say 2 scores in a single game. Yeah. There's not even a 4 minutes of a single game. It's exactly that.
And Virusy go first game. Valk was pretty quiet for Stockton. Showed up in the second, showed up in the third, and now we're seeing Virusy at that same level of dominance on the field here. We're down to that final minute. Everything on the line here for Marist to get to end, to tie this one up. They want to continue that playoff journey, have a chance about heading to Arlington. But if this keeps going how it is now, their chances are looking bleak. They had a beautiful setup there, but a beautiful opportunity can easily be missed.
It's just going to be so hard for them to kind of spin these opportunities out of straw, just out of nowhere right now, especially when Stockton knows the deal. A nice attempt to stop right there for X, but this is exactly Stockton doing that. They'll score if they can get it, but this is just big kind of keep away type situation. Oh, what a save! Okay, so still a lease on life here for Marist. They got to take it down the other way, like right now, though. Decent positioning, decent takeaway attempt right there. Tones down bottom. Got to try to get this one right side. Not gonna happen. There is not enough time to score twice here, Tiny. Marist comes out striking hard and first. Unfortunately, after that, a 4-game run. One of them in overtime as well there for the Stockton Birds. We're going to be looking at incredibly even kind of score lines for Virusy and KevDog. Valk actually the one who kind of takes a backseat on the scoring and whatnot. Crazy stuff. Crazy stuff. Stockton's going to be moving on. Red Fox's Marist. Appreciate you guys for coming. Fantastic, Steven, but unfortunately, it's going to end here.
Yeah, you know what? You go in, you place 13th out of 48 teams, make it to round 3. I believe that's our final 16 teams. That's not too shabby at all. Finished in a very good spot nonetheless, but in the end, it's better today. A better team ends up winning, and tonight it was Stockton. They're going to go ahead, move to that quarterfinals, one step closer to making it to Arlington. And I got to say, they came into this very close to the bottom tier of the seedings. They've upset the number 4 team. Now the 13th I'd be a little scared if this is your next opponent.
Yeah, especially if I'm like, numbers 1 through like 6 seed or something like this, and I'm looking at a Stockton squad that already did this to number 4. I'm not even feeling comfortable unless I'm like literally the number 1 seed, like the favored team to win the entire tournament and whatnot. But after this game went, some fire the extra Rocket League as well. No 4-0s, no sweeps right here. Keep those brooms in the closet, folks. We're gonna be looking at a little bit of Overwatch here in a bit. Good news to you guys, I have Clutch Key and I have Chef Billy coming on in to spit some hot and spicy Overwatch action for you guys. I believe, I'm not gonna worry about the exact teams because that could also change as well. What I want to do at this point, guys, is tell you guys what are these teams fighting for? What is Tiny and Tugboat talking about? Right? We're talking about the CECC Commissioner's Cup down in the mecca of esports that is Esports Stadium, Arlington. That is going to be May 5th through 7th. Get on in there on Friday. You're definitely going to want to get in there, practice, and get everything prepared, the actual competitions on the 6th and 7th. Now, that is down there again, Esports Stadium, Arlington. All of that action will be going down on various Twitch channels at Esports U will definitely be the main one. There's definitely going to be other ones because there's going to be so much competition, so many games, so many best of 5s, best of 7s, everything else like that we are very unlikely to have all of them on a single Twitch channel. Go forth with the information, collegiatesmg.com. You can find out everything that you want to know about this event down there in Texas, over there on the website and whatnot. Again, live games and whatnot shown on Esports U. But with that, FBI Tugboat here. Tiny, do we have anything else for the good people before we go to a very short break and get Overwatch started?
Thank you all for coming out to support these 2 Collegiate Rocket League teams tonight. I'm sure they really appreciated it. And hey, I saw some Stockton fans in the chat. I mean, hey, there you go. You cheered your Stockton team to victory. Congratulations to them. I look forward to see where this bracket ends up going. But for now, we're going to go ahead and head over to some Overwatch action. So stay tuned. We'll be back soon.
What is going on, everybody, and welcome to the ECAC Top Plays of the Week. I am Septilance, and I'm super excited to walk through these with you so you can see all of the great moments we are getting out of collegiate esports. One of my favorite things about these seasons is as they go on, as the years continue to pass, the skill ceiling just gets higher and higher, and the teams get better and better. Starting things off in Week 1 and 2, these teams came out the gate swinging. Let's take a look at what they were ready to bring out in these early weeks. Valorant is a game all about risk versus reward, and Sin from NYIT wanted to show us just how much he was willing to risk to get that great reward of a round win.
Sort of forced to pop off, maybe get a little bit more sniper play, but these direct tight angles make it tough. You have Axeris that actually gets a wallbang headshot onto Prime. Oh, that timing on the paranoia works so well.
Yo, give it up for the util, bro. Sin's gonna pick up 3 into the site. It's a lurk on its way from the chamber, but unless you're going to spam through this box, you're not getting anything done, and Panda won't even let him get that far.
Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is a game that can be decided in milliseconds, and Waka, one of the best players from SUNY Canton A Squad, wanted to show us just what they can do with only a second and a single stock on the board.
Sledge option going to be charging forward smash, going a little early. They're not quite getting what you want. Drop shield after first hit and pick, getting hit by the kid. High percent. There is the stun into Claw. That Claw could have been charged for a lot longer. Oh my goodness, that's a forwarder into stage with the stage spike and then upping immediately after. What a sick.
1 point in Rocket League can never make a team feel comfortable, but Driftsy wanted to show us that not only was he going to pick the pace up, but he wasn't going to let his team down.
Defensive test with flying colors, though they couldn't get out, and that is the important part at the moment. Clears a must for UA, and it's just not in the cards at the moment.
Dripsy connects off the backboard. What a shot. I watched it unfold slowly. You stopped speaking at just the right moment.
Valorant is often called a team-based shooter, but sometimes it can't just be about the team. Sometimes you gotta have those hero plays. Spec wanted to spray and pray and was actually able to save the day for SVSU, tying up the series 7-7.
Hard B push here, 2 Omens folks coming out. 1, Spec just finds 3. What? Spraying through the smoke? Oh, what, Spec? That's not legal, man. That's not legal. This is match day 2 of the ECAC League. You can't be doing that right now. Spec just goes with the call.
Here in this clip, Fanshawe finds themselves with their backs against the wall, 20 seconds left on the clock, and they're desperate to take down Wake Forest. They don't have anything to get through this team, they don't have any weapons on the field, but with Jackie Moon in the wings, at least they had a sniper.
Apparently. Guys gonna believe all the shots. Oh, a sniper! Jackie Moon from about midway through. What a shot right here from Jackie.
Wow, good eye sniper. Yes, sir. Jackie Moon puts us on the right side. A little bit more to the left. This one would have been...
Here in this clip, we're going to get a great moment from a Pac-Man, and as a Pac-Man player, I was super excited to see it. We're going to hear a lot of praise from our commentators giving Mosey those compliments of choosing Snake against Pac-Man, a great counter pick. They were super excited to see a Snake on the field, but even without their blessing, Trollery does not yield.
Approach, but like you said, he's trying to play this safe because losing a stock right now for Concord would be really bad. And, well, a little bit of commentator's curse there. We kind of willed that one into existence. Oh, man. Oh, my goodness! What?
Now I know what you're thinking. Oh, Septilence, how could that be all we got from weeks number 1 and 2? Please tell me there's more. If you like what you saw, you've got to go check out ECAC Esports on all social media platforms. Please see what they're bringing to the table. It is great collegiate esports week after week. And on the bright side, folks, this is just the beginning. We've got the whole rest of what is guaranteed to be a great season ahead of us. Thank you so much for joining me for this recap, and I'll see you on the next one.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss that fact,
is that we don't have these preconceived notions, and we're willing to listen to our membership and read the room, read college athletics and how it's connected and how it's not, and take what we have expertise in championships, but also throw out some of the other stuff. I remember when we first started, there were some conferences were applying their amateurism rules to all of their esports competitors, and I think we knew enough to know that no, that's not going to work in an esports culture. It's got to be very different. And by the way, the NCAA was going in a different direction. You could see that Train had already left the station on that, and so it's an incredibly dynamic area and ever changing, and will continue to change. And just as we didn't know when we started what it's going to be looking like, I think similarly we still don't know what it's going to be in another 5 years. I know enough to know that all of us are still going to have a thriving esports program that's doing a real good service for our members and for our competitors. But we still don't know necessarily what some of that is going to look like, and that's pretty cool about it all. Let me ask you this, because you all are used to dealing with your athletic directors, and each of them are dealing with what's in front of them in their athletic departments. My guess is at least some of your schools are that this is not necessarily operating within the athletic department. And can you talk about how you navigate that in a conference office, and maybe the best way to handle that, or do you have preferences? Do you try to steer them one way or the other? And just talk a little bit about that if you don't mind.
Sure. The majority of our schools are not under the athletics umbrella. We have one institution that perhaps by next year will be under the auspices of athletics, but most of them are in other departments across campus. Right. One of the things that has helped us is that we have support from the president's office. And so in order to participate in Mountain West events, you have to have an adult non-student administrator that oversees that, the eSport program. And that's where we get assistance with, eligibility checks and, please complete your roster, things like that. I don't know in the future, and it depends on, who's sitting in the athletics director's chairs, whether or not more esport teams will go under the umbrella of athletics. And I'm kind of indifferent in terms of whether it should, because I don't want esports to go down the road that some conventional sports have gone down with the NCAA. So we have a unique opportunity to kind of craft esports in a way that fits what esports is, as opposed to trying to fit it into a conventional athletics box, so to speak.
Right. I think the success of our program and getting participation is exactly that. The fact that we're not tying it in really to athletics and NCAA eligibility. Like Carolyn, we probably have 3 or 4 schools that are under athletics. And I know it puts them in a difficult position sometimes trying to make some decisions. I got a request recently to consider allowing part-time students to participate during this year, because some schools struggle sometimes to fill out all the games that they want to play with us. And we held off on that for now. We defer to the institution and say, what's your policy for those that are under student development or activities? What's your policy for allowing students to participate? And if you certify that they're eligible under your current policies, then that's good for us. I also think, and I was part of some of the conversations early on with the NCAA years ago about the NCAA getting involved as a Division II representative, and I was crossing my fingers that wouldn't happen, just because I think this needs time to grow, and expand.
Can I ask Rob a question, because you mentioned part-time enrollment, and one of the things that we've done here is that as a conference, we've just set eligibility standards, full-time enrollment, making progress towards your degree as the institution defines it. Are you guys doing something like that as well? Because we've gotten that part-time enrollment question and we've said no. Yeah,
no, I don't think we've gotten that far down the line, Carolyn, to ask for that. I think we kind of put it on the institution, but we do say that the student has to be a full-time. Now, they could be a full-time grad student, but they have to be full-time as from what the institution
Yeah.
We're at the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. Let's make some noise.
Oh, and it's gonna jumped into it. Corner judges go for 1, 2, dip. He needs more. They're doing even more here.
You gotta touch the point. Mr. Collins walks it in. Toy Boy is gonna drop.
Knife him.
Right out in front.
Yeah. 3, 2, 1. Running.
Four teams remain here in the ECAC. Oh, wait, hold on a minute. Ooh. Hey, you guys looking good over here, man. You guys looking good with the Aloha shirt over here. And Paraíso behind you as well. But, ooh, got some nice looking shirts on and a nice looking matchup, if you will, as well. Semi-finals of the ECAC going on right now. Number 3 seeded Fisher Falcons taking on number 2 seeded Kean, and winner advances to play on in the championship round of the ECAC against number 1 seeded Ball State Red. As we welcome you inside of the booth, Clutchy alongside Chef Billy. One good-looking guy in red in the Aloha shirt, the other one just talking his head away for right now as we introduce the entire game for right now here in the ECAC Masters Plus division. But Fisher and Kean, and a pretty good matchup here in the top 4 semifinals, Billy.
I mean, Kean is kind of a surprise being here. Just based upon what I've seen across competitions, and the fact that they're here in the semifinals shows that they are a team to be reckoned with. But I want to be very clear: Fisher has a pedigree, right? They've got a standout pedigree, having competed a little bit in the Overwatch Path the Pro system. We've seen a lot of their players interspersed in some of these contenders' rosters. So, really looking at Abs and Mikan. Those are my two focuses right now for me for this Fisher squad. We were talking before we came on. I'm on the Okra committee, the committee that ranks these collegiate teams, and I have them pretty high. I have got Fisher. I've got this team ranked number 4 in my personal rankings. When it all aggregated out between all the members that voted, they ended up coming out 5th. And then their junior team, we call the Navy team, which a lot of these Fisher players are parts of, came out number 16. So we're going to put it in the middle and call them number 11. And I mean, the other one is not ranked. So that is a little bit of a disparity between the two skill levels between these two teams. And on the back of Mikan and Abs, I think this is going to be a pretty straightforward series. However, it is championship season. Cinderella is always in the house.
Yes.
And we will see if that is actually going to come true today. I've got my own predictions. We'll get into that later as we get into this. But Keegan, I mean, we're looking at starting on Ilios here first today. And man, I mean, we were talking about the new season dropped yesterday.
Yep.
Lifeweaver is in gameplay right now. If you have not tried to play Lifeweaver, please rebind everything on your mouse and keyboard. It is so backwards. You have to rebind everything. There's a Reddit out there for it and everything. I don't know if Lifeweaver is available here for us, but what I do know is that metas are still pretty consistent with what we've been seeing along. The Reinhardt change did come through, just so everybody knows. So a little bit less armor, more to health, less to armor for the German Crusader. And, we will see how that goes, but we're going to go ahead and head into our game right now. We're going to start on Ilios, and we're going to start on Well. And Keegan, I mean, we got Kean, we've got Fisher College. Sindrillin is going to be your take here for Fisher College. They're going to have to set the pace moving through, and it's going to come down to Mikan and Abs. Like I said, this is my total focus here for this matchup.
Yeah, we're looking at to see if Kean can, what you would call an upset if you're taking a look at the Okra rankings just by themselves. But right now, Kean sitting pretty delicately inside of the side room for right now. Fisher kind of taking a little bit more space right around the side room. Kean trying to go a little bit more fast-paced with this Winston, with the Tracer combination. Great Bionade from Waffle Iron onto Mikan, but there's an Immortality field to keep them there for right now. Sarah's got a kill onto Waffle Iron, which starts off Fisher on the right foot, and the Falcons, just turns them around on the ice go, and the Falcons are off to the running start.
It's all about positioning right now with this Ramasha-based composition. You can take so much space because of the Vortex, because of the temporary shield, and because the primary fire is a projectile. You can actually really hold a good amount of space. And with Abs on this Baptiste, the repositioning is going to be key. It's going to be evasive as well. And then Mikan being able to speed around your Ramatra. I mean, look at them. They're just standing here holding the Porkello here on the side. They know that there's a Farah now. This will be up to Abs to be able to take them down in conjunction with Seta and Sendrillin. But really, Kean have to get on top of the backline first before they can do anything else.
Well, they're having a little bit of struggle too, but the Lucio falls really low, but the Lucio somehow escapes to their lives. Mikan is out and regroups with the rest of the team. Now, Leo has to go right on in, trying to make sure they can do any damage whatsoever. Now, the Tracer falls really low, has a Pulse Bomb available to them here within 1%, but a great start with that far out. The Immortality field having to be used in courtesy of the Pulse Bomb at the same token. But now they're finally getting picks off, and Akiko able to find a way to get the pick there as well. There's the sound barrier out to see if Mikan can try to pull out a little bit more percentages, and this percentage is still rolling, as you can see on the top of your screen. 70% and rolling, but the Rocket Barrage is going to end all hope, and Kean will see some percentages.
Ooh, boy. That was spicy coming through there for them. And I mean, you know, just in the end, being able to get on that back line, like I said, that's how you break down this Fisher College composition. Look at this. We've got complete DPS and tank swap-ups coming out here. You know, the nuisance factor of the Tracer is going to go to the back. Woo! Bye-bye, abs.
Wow.
And you're going to go in for a probably an electric cowboy look. You're also going to be looking to put the anti onto Leo in the Winston. They do have Primal available, so they should get to about the 50 or 60% mark before Fisher is really going to be in a position to rotate and take the aggression to them.
Let's see if they can push that to 50 right now. Well, again, you said a new team look here for Fisher at the very least, but now they're going to pull out the Kitsune Rush for Waffle Iron to see if they can maybe force out a few ultimates if Fisher had any. But that Kitsune Rush really does you no good here, as it's not going to find a single pick. Sendrillin catches out Leo, getting a little too antsy, maybe a little bit to dance into the back line. So now it's just the force back. The Mercy falls really, really low. Then they have to heal them all the way up. Valkyrie having to be pulled out as well to keep this far alive. Fisher able to flip it in the meanwhile at 75%. The question is, can they keep this going with a pick or two here? Because Kean's got to bring this all the way back for Final Fight.
Well, Final Fight is going to be coming up here very shortly. And, well, I mean, getting the D.Va in the air is big, but you leave your backline exposed when you go hunting for the Pharah, and this Pharah pick has actually turned the complete fight around. Now, there is a flip here, 95% counting. Primal out, Barrage out.
Oh, Barrage is out, but it doesn't find anything, although they do get Sarah in the back line, so the overtime clock starts to run out here. As they get the 99% and on. Primal Rage is out, gets rid of Sindrillin, but the self-destruct in exchange for the Primal Rage, so it's a 1-for-1 trade in the meanwhile. Mikan stays alive on side of the back line. Leo is able to get the res up, but Vans is gone as well, or Beans, I should say, is gone. So now you have the flip for Kean, but in progress, which they are, due to keep themselves alive. But the fight still continues on with man advantage in favor of Fisher, and that's a big one for them. And the sound barrier out for Mikan at the same token as well, keeping everybody up. Fisher is going to flip this one over, and Fisher is going to be able to bleed the overtime clock out. A 100-70 win on the well for Fisher, but Kean giving them a little bit of a scare.
A little bit. No. I'm going to retract my statement just a little bit. If Kean is able to swap, identify, and change their composition up at the fly like they just did on well across the rest of our best of 7 here, this is going to be a very interesting matchup because Fisher will have to rotate and swap compositions on the fly. Now, they are a higher ranked team. They have more experience in bigger competitions like this. So, you know, you have to put that little intangible into the Fisher College side. But Kean right now, they don't care. They're going to go in with this high tempo rush going into Fisher College, and, well, Sandrillin has said, I have had enough. I'm going to echo your monkey.
Oh, yeah, and this is actually one of the few times as well. I don't think I've seen a Widowmaker or any kind of long-range character here on the Ruins at the very least. Normally you'd see a Widowmaker and whatnot too, but I guess not.
Sure.
Maybe the meta changes a little bit, I guess, with the new patch notes, but really no characters here got affected, maybe except for the Mercy at the very least for right now. But 3 seconds left to go. Nobody really controlling the point. They're really staying on either side. The Sojourn falls really low for Sarah. Sarah having to back off for a couple of moments, and Keller able to punch out Raslito. So now the Fisher College right on the front foot as yet again they start off with the point control.
Well, Keegan, the reason why you don't have the long-range snipers here is because the Winston can get on top of them in a hurry.
That is true.
Throw down that bubble, and you're going to lose all your healing resources. You're just going to get burned down, and it's an easy 5v4 situation in that moment. I'm kind of shocked to see a Mercy out here. You don't get the same value. Echo is mobile enough that you can get them healed, but I guess you're going to go for the damage. You're going to go for the Sky, but never mind, because Seta is done with your nonsense.
But they trade that out right away for a Tracer instead, so DPS for DPS battle trade-off. The Mercy able to fly away, so Beans is safe for right now with 100% on the Valkyrie almost available to them. Now Sarah has to get away for a couple of moments as they're already down to 100 health. Beacon gone. Beans with the Battle Mercy on the Valkyrie. Gets Sarah down and is going to get another elimination onto the Kiriko as well. And it's the Battle Mercy coming up big for Kean as they are able to flip the point right back to themselves.
pulling the Glock out. The Glockster has entered the battlefield, ladies and gentlemen, non-binary friends. But look at this time, or look at this ultimate bait coming up here for Fisher College. They've got the sound barrier to be able to go in on tempo. They're going to be going up against a Kitsune Rush and a Primal from Kean as they try to hold this point. Raslito, you need to find a little bit more. I say it. There it is. There's the extra amount of damage that you needed going in.
Yeah, that's a little bit of an oomph, if you will, deals damage. So they've got something going here for at least Kean for right now. Keeps an rush used. At the same token, Centrilion's going to use the Primal Rage and gets rid of Waffle Iron off the stage. And in fact, just swings away at the GD code to get some value out of it. But now Primal Rage traded out for Leo at the same token. Abs is gone, but you trade that out for Bean at the same token for support. Still 38% enrolling. And now Fisher College actually on the man advantage here, looking to see if they want to push up. Kean is going to say they're back up for right now. They're happy with getting at least halfway, and Fisher is going to retake the point.
Smart disengage there coming out of Kean. They get almost equal to what Fisher College have on their first foray onto the point. Now, the big problem for Kean right now is that Deadeye is almost ready for Fisher College, and that's going to be an immediate, but what? An immediate change there. Good Lord, hello.
Well, it's going to be a pulse bomb at the same token as well, and now the DPS is showing up here for Kean. Get 3-for-1 trade at the very token. Now right for Fisher, they just have to back off, and now it's going to be a 70, pretty much an 80% enrolling here. They're going to have the Tracer to stall, but it's not going to last much longer, and Kean back in a similar position they were last map.
Deadeye still available. The Kitsune Rush was expended there, and they didn't get the value and hold the point, so Kean actually getting the better value trade into that fight. Now, Valkyrie is available, but you can't pop it knowing that Deadeye is on the line because you're just a sitting duck.
Well, let's see if they decide to use the Valkyrie or the Deadeye here very early on. Which one is gonna? It's gonna be a game of chicken with these ultimates here. But the Deadeye is gonna go out first. Keller at the same time uses a pulse bomb. Isn't gonna find anything, but finds enough damage to get rid of Leo. Beans does use the Valkyrie, but is there gonna be enough to res up the Winston is the question. And that answer is no. Now, Magnetic Grenade got a nerf, but that doesn't mean it still does damage. Raslito is gone. Sarah finds another body as well. Sarah finds a third, and Fisher flips it right back with 85%.
Que sera, sera, que sera, sera. Holy cow. What a turn there. A three-piece out of Sarah. And now you're looking at sound barrier difference right now. The Eco Mercy is not getting the job done. You need to be swapping here as you cross the 98%. Last touch coming in.
Last touch comes in from the Winston at the very least, but the sound barrier from Econ could end this all right here. They do get the res up onto Raslito, but it's going to be too little, too late. Overtime clock bleeds. No chance for Kean to even come back there, and Fisher is able to win. 170 on the well, 185 on the ruins, and Fisher College off to the right start here, 1-0.
Oh, my dear friend. Oh, my dear friend. We're going to have a series on our hands here, I think. This was pretty impressive from Fisher to be able to adapt in those quick moments. And, I mean, Sarah was just bloody impressive on the accuracy heroes, as I call them, because, you know, went from hit scan to projectile. Or vice versa, was equally as versed on the Cassidy as they were on the Hanzo, and that's going to be a big change. That's something that really Kean need to identify early and make that a sole focus, because Centrilla did not get a lot of work done in the tank department. Really was more concerned with and more tasked with space taking, and you were allowing Mikan to kind of ferry around Sarah there on the Cassidy, especially getting him to prime position. So like I mentioned in the opening here when we started out on Lighthouse, the back line of Fisher has to be your primary focus. If you can get Abs and Mikan down, the rest of the composition here for Fisher really does start to suffer. Now, when you see Sarah go off for 3 without a Deadeye, then you know that they are feeling it, and they've got the non-sponsored gamer fuel going through their veins in cool, good order. So, I mean, still, I think this is going to be a series just based upon what we saw there on Control. We'll see how the rest of the map types go.
Yeah, and the next map type, speaking of which, is going to be Hybrid coming up here. So Hybrid, you go back to it's basically the Season 3 map composition pool. So Eichenwald out, Hollywood out. You still have Blizzard World, Kings Row, Old Faithful, Midtown Paraíso, where you are, and Numbani at the same token as well. So you're looking at 5 pretty, different maps in their own way. Kings Row, obviously Old Faithful, where everybody, Scrims Row, Old Faithful, whatever you want to call it there. But, still a pretty sizable map pool here, especially if you go back all the way to Season 3 ones. But Hollywood, Eichenwald out to, I wouldn't say favorites, but 2 more of the popular maps in the hybrid game mode besides Kings Row. But next map is going to be Old Faithful in Scrims Row and Kings Row, and this is Kane's pick here. It is a best of 7 as well, mind you, so we are going to see all 4 map types at the very least, but the second one here is hybrid, and yes, Kings Row is going to be the pick, and Billy is has hand in mouth here to, or over mouth, I should say, to figure out why Kings Row was the pick.
If you want to brawl, then that's where we're going to go, because we did not see any semblance of a brawl. Even on Ruins, which you would expect to see either the Ramatra or a Wrecking Ball or the Reinhardt come out there, or even Orisa, my favorite choice. No, we saw Winston. So if they're going to keep pushing into these Winston comps, I'm gonna give the slight advantage to Kean, honestly, because they seem to have the coordination going through, and it took some singular hero moments out of Fisher to keep them from really losing control and going off the rails with their composition. So Raslito, the Echo was okay, if I'm being completely honest, and running a Mercy in this economy is not good, because you only saw 1 actual damage boosted kill. Because I was, I keep an eye on these things. So, I'm writing it down as we go. Only the 1 headshot was the damage boosted potential that was realized there from the Beans Mercy. So, I think that you need to have more utility. I think running in with the Ana and really trying to give Leo a little bit extra oomph in the back pocket. Having a nano Winston is not a bad thing, especially with the low mobility. Once you get on top of that back line, if you can get them in there with a nanoed Winston, the Tesla cannon will immediately zap them out. It'll force cooldowns, if anything else. So, I say that Kean is going to show us something that I have not seen rolled out in this series of competitions. I've seen it a couple times now, especially in Europe. Doofus has been very prevalent, but we're going back to the Ramatra. Yeah, and we're gonna go divey here. We're gonna go divey once again.
Yeah, they're gonna go Winston one more time here, so maybe Doofus just to see what was going on. Winston backing off as well, so doors are open, and Kean is gonna try their best to even up this series at 1 apiece, but Leo already having to go in, and that big Bionate as well, but no, Sarah's got a headshot onto Becomix, and yeah, this is not good here for Fish, or for Kean, I should say, already, as they have to already back up. May is there to save themselves for a couple of moments, but now you have a good Bionate onto Sarah at the same token, and no res up coming for Fisher either, because you don't have a Mercy there. So this would be your go button if everybody is regroup, but the Winston falls really low, potentially just a regroup scenario. And again, they're going to have to take a little while to come on back here. So Kane's got a little bit of a go button, but they're not really taking advantage of the situation on a 5v4. But now they decide to come in, and now the Ramatra bionated at the same time from Waffle Iron yet again. And they all have to back off simultaneously here. The wall up just to stay there, but now they're just going to regroup for now.
This should be the go time right now. Get all inside of Hotel, inside of the altar work, and just lay loose with all of your cooldowns and just burn them. Beckham really does have to be careful on this Tracer because Sarah has had their number. They do go back over to the castle as well. Pulse Bomb online.
Pulse Bomb online. Sound Barrier is going to be used at the same token. Raslito's going to duplicate into the Ramatra and will have an Annihilation ready to go, so they can just press Q and use that one right away. Pulse Bomb at the same token, and all the ults are coming out here, but in the end, it is going to be Kean that brings out the 2 DPS ults plus the Valkyrie, and Kean is going to be able to add 2.5 to the bank.
That was perfectly done, perfectly swapped around, and it only takes them about 1 minute and 45 seconds. So 2 full fights. They really were patient. I would have, in my game, I would have been, pushing forward once we saw that 5v4 situation go. I'm pushing up as the tank and getting in their faces now. Deadeye, 4% away, and Leo has roared on the pressure here.
Oh, yep. Let's see if they can just keep pouring on the pressure for Fisher at the very least. Now, underneath the archway is not where you want to be, especially on a defensive hold. If they don't lose anybody here, and they're going to push out the Winston as well. So yes, this payload is in a really difficult position now underneath the archway, and you and I have seen a lot of holds here on this archway.
bring out the Winston. I'm summoning, the Bastion. I'm summoning Bastion to the battlefield. Burn down that flimsy little Ramatra shield. Burn down the walls. Get your artillery strike up. Force out the immortality build. You will win this map in a hurry. Now Beckham is getting worked up, but once again, a huge pick.
Yeah, huge pick for them, and that's going to get rezzed up right away. Primal Rage forced down by Leo at the very least. Deadeye in the background from Sarah. Is this going to find anything? It doesn't need to find anything because Sendrillin and Keller are just going to take care of business up front, and that Bionate's not going to matter either, too. They're going to back off, and yet again, Fisher putting up a fence.
We need to see some adaptation here from Kean. We need to see that right now. Now is the time. You've got 320. You're stuck at Archway. You're going into a blizzard. You have nothing online other than a very quickly approaching duplicate. I would expect the Ramatra duplicate once again.
Fisher College still having 3 check marks online, making a 4th. Mikan just gets theirs online as well. Down to 3 minutes left to go. 1:43 wasted on this defensive side at the very least. But now Sarah getting a headshot under the Tracer. They're going to use the duplicate anyways to see if they can get something going. Blizzard at the same token freezes Razlito from doing any more. Leo gone at the same token. And this is looking like another fight win here for Fisher. And the team uses 2 ultimates, but to no avail. Looks like for right now, though, Fisher getting 3 ultimates online. Mikan's also going to get a melee kill onto Beans at the same token. So for right now, as it stands, it's looking like, for right now, it's looking like Fisher has the ultimate advantage. Kean coming out with something of their own with the 2 ultimates, but it's going to have to be a Pulse Bomb and an Nano Boost that's going to have to do something for them here.
You're going to have to engage with Leo on this Winston to get the value and take the space. And they're going into the Annihilation, so, you've got plenty of holding power here, plus the wall from Keller is really going to cordon everybody off.
Let's find out here. 2 minutes on the clock again. 2 minutes and 43 seconds gone from what was a 4:43 time back for Kean, and they have not moved an inch since then. But now it's an Ana-boosted Winston. The sound barrier, great bubble, does not hit the Maze, so the Maze in a lot of trouble here without anything else going. Is forced to use the Icicle block for right now, but now Sendrillin and Abs just making work of this team. Pulse Bomb in the back line forces out the immortality field, but yet again, Fisher has the answer for Kean.
Yep, and great counterplay. They're coming from Fisher. They withstand the Nano. Winston coming through, only dropping 1, and are able to rally around and hold their ground. 5v4. They are, Kean really now they need to change, and Razlito is the person that needs to change because the Tracer was getting work done. It was pulling resources out of the back line, but it's actually Beko going over to the Genji. Yee! I'm kind of iffy about this one.
Well, let's find out here if the iffy will make a difference here. Great Bionate in the backline gets 2 people, and now Comics is going to be able to use the deflection on the Deadeye to get rid of Abs, although in the process, Leo does go down. But if you're in a trade fight right underneath the archway, you're liking the chances here for Kean to make a comeback if they regroup. They get rid of Beans at the same token. So now it's just a Ramatra and a May doing what they can with no healers available to them either, except for Mikan, and who's really not going to be able to heal much of anything. Sendrillin's just waiting for death, and this is the push Kean wants. Finally, after 4:43, only 30 seconds left to go.
4 minutes off the clock, and they're just now getting to bookstore. This is gone from really good to yikes in about the last 30 seconds. And Razlito will have the duplicate online here in the next fight. Beans will have the Valkyrie. Once again, you're looking for the back line. They don't have to worry about the Deadeye this time, so this Valkyrie should be pretty easy to go through.
Well, Primal Rage is going to get used as soon as the magnetic grenade got popped onto them. Razlito now duplicates into the Cassidy, and that's going to be on top as well, and no Maywall either to save themselves because Razlito doesn't have anything for the Deadeye yet, but now has the Deadeye available to them. No shield either as Sendrillin is in Nemesis form, but that's not going to matter either way. The Blizzard out for Keller to make sure that they can save some face here for this fight, and that's absolutely what's going to happen. Everybody starts melting away, and Kean with 4:43 cannot complete the second point as Fisher shuts him out onto their attack coming up.
Oh man, somebody get a hold of Razlito and tell him to get off the Echo. You did not have the punching power. You weren't getting the value other than the first fight. Once you went through and you got stymied out at Archway here on second point, that's the time for you to go to something with more shield break, something with more punching power. Junkrat, Hanzo, Soldier 76, Cassidy. Bastion is my favorite right now because of all the work that has gone into making Bastion more of a standard staple for a lot of these compositions. If you're going to run in Brawly, you can do that. And even the Hanzo would have been a better pick, just to break stuff down, just for the one pick potential that Kean needed. So, well, now they're going to go to the Cassidy. So, well, I say that. They're going to flop around here. I don't hate the Ashe. This is going to stay on this Mercy, and that's 195 DPS per headshot when you use the aim down sights. Also, you have the ability to reposition yourself using the Viper. So, I mean, lots more utility here for Kean in the second DPS department. Leo going over to the Reinhardt. So we've got kind of a brawl situation going on here. I still think that the Bastion would be a better, I mean, it would be a better option, but I think that you can trade the second DPS in this Icy Rush, Icy Brawl composition. You can go with the Hanzo, you can go with the Ashe, or you can go with the Bastion.
Well, no Bastion here for Kean on the defensive end. Fisher's going to come out with a Widowmaker plus the Mei, but they switched that out. Sarah's going to go on to the Hanzo instead. The Hanzo got the sharpshooter play of the game last round, so we'll see if Sarah can put up some more sharpshooting clips here for Fisher at the very least. But question is, can they get through this brawl of Kean first? And Kean is going to go ahead and try to rush in with the Reinhardt. However, Syndrillin is just going to go right around. No Mei wall available to Kean either to stop them for a couple of moments. Syndrillin gets the Ashe at the very least, and no Mei res either for them. As Waffle Iron able to get rid of Abs, but it might be too little too late, as Kean is already going to have to back off, and Fisher is now going to have plenty of time to get into the golden box.
They really are. They're going to have a great time bank here. It's going to take them about a minute to get it captured. We'll see if there's any kind of a last-second touch here, but they will have a very healthy time bank. It'll be right around the 5:30 mark as they push through, going in. Well, I was 2 seconds off. I'm sorry. So it's 5:27 going through the archway here. Leo really does need to be empowered here by their healers. And archway the same way that you saw Fisher do to them. You've got the Mei. Becco has to really make this work, and they've got the vision advantage as well. This is scary times here for Kean, about to go down 2-0, and that is a huge pick.
That's a big pick. They get rid of the Mei, and again, Kean rather not having the Mercy anymore means they do not have a rest to use. I mean, Khan just going battle Lucio here. Has already got 2, looking for a little bit more. Sarah's going to help that out, and halfway home to that 99. This is looking like an all Fisher game right now.
Yep, GG's. I mean, I would have just jumped off the stage there and got myself reset, because you literally saw them go in there and just stand there and take their death. Well, you just fed 10% ult charge to Syndrillin, who does not need the help going into this. Blizzard v Blizzard battle coming up here. Big difference is that Mikan is 20% ahead of Beans in the sound barrier department, so if they just kind of hold the line here and wait and throw it behind. Oh my god, this is evil.
Oh boy, yeah, the Blizzard comes behind the Dragon Strike for insurance, the application matrix. Just throw all the ults you want, Fisher, because this last fight ain't gonna matter anyways. The Falcons just absolutely dominating the floor here on Kings Row in that second point, and now they're up in the series 2-0.
That is pretty comprehensive out of Fisher. And I tell you what, Razlito, yeah, got some work done. I mean, this is a great first duplicate, and they got the work done on the back of it in conjunction with that Tracer, so you had the 1-2 punch going on. But in the end, just too much oppression coming out of this Fisher squad. You know, they stuck on the Echo a little bit too long, and I think that is a big red flag for me, is seeing, you know, will they be able to adapt fast enough? Because they came out defensively with a cat or with an Ashe, immediately picked, positioning wasn't right, and I mean they pushed on top of that. So you know, they need to have a little powwow as a team, make sure that they got their positioning right, make sure they got their support right, make sure they have a plan as they're going into these maps. Otherwise, this is going to be a very quick 4-map sweep.
Well, let's see if they can get things together. Escort coming up next, but we're going to take a short break. When we come back, map number 3, we'll see if Kean can bring it back or if Fisher's going to look at match point in the next map. We'll take a short break. It's the ECAC playoffs on Esports U.
I think we wanted as few impediments to getting this thing rolled possible in the outset. I do think as schools get more competitive, they will start to distrust one another, and that's why we have this 500-page NCAA manual, because schools distrust one another. But we're not there yet. Right now there's still a collective. Let's move this forward, and the fact that the NCAA is not administering it, I think, is really helpful to the growth of it all. And yes, we allow grad students. We don't even have a 4 or 5 year clock. If you are full-time enrolled for 10 years in good standing, you can do. And why not? Why would we not say that that's okay? Now, eventually, like I said, we may change our minds if the schools require it. They say, no, this is crazy. Look what they're doing over there. We don't like, but I think we're still a long way from that. Alex, do you have anything?
Yeah, I mean, I echo everything that really Carolyn has said. You're gonna have to forgive me. What was the original question? It's been a minute. I know. I'm sorry.
Well, just kind of what you set out to do, and then what maybe the realities of it are.
https://twitter.com/septilence. Don't put that in. I'll get in trouble. So that's worth it. Did I get too close to the camera on that one? A little bit too close. Should I back up a little bit? Okay, sorry about that. My bad. I've been awake for probably close to 32 hours. I have to hold my keyboard the normal way, because if I do it, I feel like I have arthritis, and I hold my keyboard like that. It blows my mind. I can never do that. This guy right here, he's got his keyboard off at an angle. His isn't that extreme. There's a kid all the way down to the far end who has his keyboard all the way at a horizontal.
That's really cool.
They're going to be at that table right over there.
Public information?
Oh, I don't know. But this isn't live, so it doesn't matter.
It's not live, but you and I know.
Yeah, we know.
I'm not going to tweet it.
Awesome. What game do you play?
Smash Bros.
Who do you play? Is it embarrassing? Is it like Villager?
Yeah.
Is it Villager? Am I spot on? Oh my god. Is it the Ice Climbers?
No.
Is it Game & Watch?
No.
Is it Pichu?
No.
Is it Wario?
No.
I can keep going. I think I can name every character in the game.
I believe in you.
Is it? Did I say the Ice Climbers already?
Yeah, you said them.
Is it them?
Not them.
Is it them a second time?
No.
Okay. All right. Oh, is it one of the links?
Yes, it is.
Is it Toon Link?
It is.
Oh, that is pretty embarrassing. That is rough. Who do you play?
I'll give you $20 if you guess correctly right now.
First try? Give me a single hint.
It's an obscure character.
Obscure character.
Not played very often.
Is it Wii Fit Trainer?
Oh my god! Oh my.
I'm the interviewer for a reason, baby. I do what I do. I don't need the money. I appreciate it, though. I appreciate it. So Bowser Jr., Wii Fit, and I forgot already. Are you all lying to me? Am I being gaslit? No. Bowser Jr., Wii Fit, and you told me already. Oh, Toon Link. Yep. Where's my main support at? Who are we playing this weekend?
A lot of Brig.
A lot of Brig, really?
Brig Lucio, probably.
Brig Lucio, really? I shouldn't say that too loud. I don't want to give all your strategies. It's over-under?
What do you mean over-under?
Like, do we think we're going to podium? Do we think we're going to come in last place?
Not last place.
Not last place?
Certainly not last.
What about, 5th place?
That's doable.
That's doable? That's winnable? 3rd place?
Third
That's where things get dicey?
That's very doable.
Okay.
First place? That's very doable.
First place, very doable. Love it. That's the mindset. That's what he loves to hear. Yeah. Oh my god. Hold on. Cut the cameras. Well, who are you? Hello. Oh my god. I saw you earlier. I saw the back of your shirt. And I was like, I know that name. I know him. It's a quick play game. They Q-sniped each other at land. I thought it was a scrim. It's just unlucky. Are you actually a Villager player?
Yeah.
How do you feel about Villager being notably worse in Smash Ultimate than they were in Smash 4?
I wouldn't know.
You wouldn't know? You never played Smash 4?
No.
Oh, that's all right. Nobody's gonna hold that against you. Who do you play?
I play Robin.
Okay, wow. Did you know Robin has the lowest pick rate in the game?
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? Come on, the LEDs, it looks just like Samus.
Huh?
Do you disagree?
I guess I can see
The
it.
Samus vibe. Show the controller to the camera. We're interviewing. This is recording, by the way. Surprise.
Not my controller.
Who do you play?
I play Peach.
Oh, wow. I like that. Who do you play?
I play the Shotos, mostly Kazuya.
No, you lose against Kirby. That's just like a statistics thing.
Yeah. It's maybe.
This is a death match, and I think they're all in the same one. They're all on Icebox. Are they all in the same deathmatch? Maybe. Who knows? I feel like none of them can hear me. I want to like approach somebody, but no one can hear. They all have both their headphones on.
What's up?
How do we think we're doing?
I think we're doing pretty good. Yeah.
What's your KD?
We're looking at 10 and 6 right now.
Oh, hey, that's third, dude. That's better than I expected. Who's bottom frag right now? I want to go talk to them. Ian? Hey, how do you think we're doing so far?
You know, it could be better.
Could be better? You're one of those rough days?
Well, you know.
Let's go find more people to harass. Yeah. Where's Boise State? Who's your favorite to play?
Oh, right now it's got to be either Chamber or Breach.
What country is Cypher from?
Oh, dude. It's Moroccan, right?
It is Morocco. Oh my God, I don't think anyone was gonna get that. Oh, you're good. You're good. All right, see you later. Let's go harass Boise State more. Who is this? What school is this? Boise?
This is Boise.
Oh man, that's okay. Boise's still got really good odds. A Large Bagel, one of their tank players, Nerdy Bird, their off tank, both of them not here. A little bit scary if we're being honest.
Aloha, and welcome back from the break, everybody. Welcome in back here inside of the booth. Clutchkey alongside Chef Billy with you here for the ECAC semifinals. If you're just joining us, it is number 3 seeded Fisher taking on number 2 seeded Kean, but Fisher up 2-0 after a 2-0 on Elios and a 2-1 on Kings Row. So now we go to the next map of Escort. Again, we're going back to the Season 3 map pool. So take out Watchpoint Gibraltar, take out Route 66. That leaves you Dorado, Circuit Royale, Junkertown, Rialto, Shambali Monastery, and Havana. So the question for you, Billy, is from what we've seen so far of Kean, with Kean getting the map pick here, what do you think they choose?
Oh man, if we're gonna start out on Winston, and it's Escort, I think Dorado is probably the #1 choice for them. If they're looking to switch things up and take it a little bit different direction, I think that you go to Midtown. I think that would be a very good choice for them to kind of throw a wrench into, what has been considered kind of a Rolodex of, we're going to go to this map, and then when we lose, we're going to go to this map. And it's almost become like a constant repeat song throughout a lot of these competitions that I've been a part of. So, man, I really want to talk about Raslito. I know that I'm critical. But when I know that the gamers have the skills, I want to see them playing at their best. And I think we stuck on the Echo just a little bit too long. You get the great value in the first fight there on Kings Row on their attack, but then we go and we stick on it too long, and it's just not good in that sense. And well, we do go to Dorado, so we'll see Leo swapping back over to the Winston, and well, Sindrillan already knows what's going to happen here. So unless there is some kind of change, unless we see Kean bring out a Diva here, which is also a very good pick for a tank on this map, I say, we'll see how the dice lie here. Fisher College bringing out their own Ashe this time. There's not going to be a damage boost, but there's going to be a lot of utility for Fisher as they approach. And, well, Nano engaged here for either a Bob or a Winston will be where I'm looking to go.
See over the top rope. Can this Mercy, or rather not the Mercy, but can the Echo find anything is the question. Not anything for right now, although they do not know they have the Winston, so the Winston's just going to back off, already down to low health. Sindrillan, though, good support line is going to help them out. First look, by the way, at Brigida for Mikan. So Brigida with the rework and all. The rally is available to them. The new rally, I should say, is available to them, but we get to see that later on. But still 30 seconds in. Kean still finding no way in for right now. Having to try to play the dive composition here, but to no avail as everybody from Fisher is kind of just spread out evenly throughout the map, and that's what happens when your tank goes down. Everybody's got to go back to the spawn room, and at the very least, Kean's going to have to regroup here, even though they get the res off, but they get the res. Question is, can they fight back? That answer for right now, they're just staying back and saying no.
It's because Keller is on the Tracer right now, punishing their backline at every chance and really getting in on top of them. And, well, the rework to Brigitte, by the way, makes them so much more durable. And, well, when we see the giant shield cutout, I found it comical seeing it for the first time today in my comp game. This is a time for you to make your changes right now. Becco over to the Genji. I like this swap. Raslito still sticking with the Echo. This is going to be an issue moving forward.
Let's see, 2.5 minutes left to go on the clock. 90 seconds have passed for Kean to do something here, but they've not gotten it around the first turn at the very least. Payload actually almost back to where it once was, but still Fisher putting up a fence for right now. This Tracer just going to dive right onto the Echo, but rewinds right away. So no more recall for the Tracer. However, Kean doesn't want to do anything else. The Nano Boost is going to go on to Syndrillin, meaning Abs and Syndrillin working as a team. The burn away here for Leo is just going to force them all the way back. And now this Kiriko in so much trouble, having to use the protection Suzu, but they backed off. So luckily enough for Kean, they don't lose anybody on the Nano Boosted Winston from Abs to Syndrillin, but now Syndrillin using the Primal Rage. Keats and Airrush going to be out at the same token here to see if Kean can have a chance to push this one up. Now a duplicate for Razlito at the same time onto the Trace. They're already down to a 10th of their health. Was able to recall out. Mikondo able to take care of Mikomics, and again, this payload just not moving from that first turn, and it will not move further anytime soon as they just get rid of that pulse bomb. The Winston does not go down, and Kean, again, no answers for this defense of Fisher.
Mikon is the MVP right there. Being able to hold, being able to throw out the biscuits when people needed that little bit of topping up as they were getting critical. And like I said, it's all about mobility right now for Fisher. The ability to get around this map. You can use the shield bash to reposition yourself as well on the Brigitte. So there are plenty of options for them to get around, and Pulse Bomb available in this fight.
Pulse Bomb is indeed available. They're going to use the new rally. The big shield is out and about, and the stun onto the Kiriko as well sends the Kiriko back. No chance to help out the rest of the team unless they use a teleport, but now a bunch of ultimates coming out from Kean at the same time, and there's going to be a blade out, but Mikomics isn't going to find a single swing away at that, so they trade that out. The Genji is now gone. Mikon, though, is gone at the same token. No more rally either. The tank is gone from Syndrillin, and now Kean finds themselves in a position with only 45 seconds left to go where they still have to find another one.
Blade pulled out every single cooldown out from Fisher College. Now, the problem is that there is 35 seconds left here in the first phase, and you're coming into Fisher College being able to set up on high ground. This is actually a really good push here from Kean, taking this high ground. And yeah, I mean, they've got the time, they've got the space. They still have half of the space to go, though.
Oh, but Abs is just going to play Battle Honor here, getting 2 kills onto Razlito and Leo. So that's good news if you're Fisher for the defensive side, down 2 already. And now making it down a 3rd for Kean here as you lose the Kiriko and no chances for Beans to come up. So now 5 seconds left to go. Somebody has to find a way to touch. And I don't know if anybody's going to have that ability except for the Winston, except for the Tracer. And no, nobody touches whatsoever. So they jump in, they deny them the space. And so Kean just only gets 56 meters, and Fisher just has that much to be sending this to match point.
I'm a broken record. Razlito stayed on that Echo way too long, and it just did not get the value. And I'm going to call a spade, and it is the Echo right now. It is the Echo that's not getting the work done. Becomix is doing as much as they can in the DPS department, but you need to have a Tracer. You need to have a Genji. I mean, the Genji is working, even though the Blade did not get the value that the killing value they wanted, but it still pulled utility out of Fisher College, and you saw what happened once the Blade was unsheathed. They were able to clean up on the back of all that utility being spent. The problem is that, well, I mean, if you're not getting the second DPS in that kill feed with you, like Keller is doing on the opposite side of Sarah, you're basically going 5v4 into these fights. So Beans is going to come out on the Mercy here. So you're going to have a damage boost for your Ashe. Hopefully this will give them the impetus to get these kills done and really start their defense, because they've got to start it now, otherwise they're facing match point.
Yeah, staring down the barrel of a match point right now. Kean wants to try to put this into their own hands. They control their destiny, but they're going to have to shut them out for 56 meters, which is basically, you can see the golden box right around underneath the archway, and you can see it, just a glimpse of it right there. But Kean having to do this early on, where they're going to have to try to push up and play exactly the same way Fisher did early on. And Keller already down to a lot of low health bars here for Fisher, but no avail. Kean not going to find a pick until Razlito was able to find a kill onto Syndrillin. That's a good start for you, and that's going to be enough here to force back Fisher already. So lose a Winston, lose an Ashe, and Kean puts up a fence here.
I mean, I don't hate it. And I think this is exactly what they need to do. And once again, it's the fact that they've got more utility. They've got more punching power. You're not a threat in the sky. And especially when you're gliding around in the Echo aerial form. It is not a quick drop unless you let go of that spacebar. And you're just gliding up there and you're just an easy target. So I think the utility right now is being proven immediately out of Razlito.
Now they're going to take a little bit of a different angle here. Mikon was bionated for just a couple of moments, but is backed off for right now. No protection Suzu needed to be used as he was with the rest of the team. So now they're going to jump right up. They're going to surround the Winston, and now this team from Kean is just going to have to back off a little bit here. Fisher, though, regroups them up, but it's not going to matter when Sarah hits headshots. Now, Beans does have a res available to them. The question is they decide to use it, or if Keller's just going to push them right off. That answer is going to be they push them off, so no res available here either. And down to final 26 meters left to go. I mean, rather, even 15 meters left to go. Good pick for Razlita, though, onto Sarah. That's going to be huge for them to try to defend this right away, but there's going to be a Slut Monkey right from above. Bionade onto them at the same token. Mikan, though, able to find a headshot on Razlito, and the Valkyrie coming out from Bean to the same token. There's going to be the nano boost onto the Winston from Sendrilin. Is this going to make the big difference? It might just make it. As only down to 6 meters, Mikan still hitting headshots with that kunai of the Kiriko. Right now down to 6 meters left to go. This might be all for naught here for Kean. They use the nano boost. Wildfire does go down. Leo cannot find a single pick with it. Everybody's just being electrocuted away. Down to 4 meters. It's only Leo left to go. And Fisher's just going to rip away the pool here with a minute 49 on the clock. It's going to be Fisher sending us to match point in the series.
Whew. I mean, really good usage, really good rotation of their ultimates there. The nano engage at the top of Archway. The sleep, anti, and then the application of nano, all from abs, was absolutely brutal. And you'll love to see it in the worst way. So, I mean, they were getting the work done. And Leo, Leo's doing the best they can. And, I mean, the supports are really sticking with them. But, I mean, broken record. I'm not going to keep saying it over and over again. Need to see some different heroes coming out the gate from Kean to keep themselves in this semifinal. Remember, there was a spot for the CECC in May. The May Madness is on the line right now, and Kean are looking down the barrel of a reverse sweep. They need to get themselves on the board here. My prediction, as I mentioned to us before we came on the air, and I said I would hold it off till later. I called it a 4-1 in favor of Fisher. I thought that Kean was going to be able to come out here and at least take a map. Now I'm looking like, okay, we'll see how this goes as we head into our push map.
Yeah, push map. All 3 maps available here for push. So New Queen Street, Coliseo, Esperanza at the same time. So all 3 push maps available here. No 4th push map, no 5th push map to have any elimination factor, or rather out of rotation factors like Hybrid, Escort, and Control do. But you still got 3 interesting maps here. And for New Queen Street, Coliseo, Esperanza, one of the 3. Billy, I know we were talking about the Echo here a lot, but I mean, maybe more open Esperanza, maybe New Queen Street. I mean, who knows at this point? You got to really adjust to what Fisher's bringing to the table. So for right now, what are you thinking here for push?
I mean, if you're going to stick with Razlito on the Echo, then you have to go to Esperanza. You have to. Because New Queen Street is too claustrophobic. Coliseo is even more claustrophobic for an Echo player. And with Serra either bringing out the Hanzo from long range or bringing in the Cassidy to get up close and personal, and having that magnetic grenade, which we saw them take Razlito out so many times, not only on Ilios, but also on King's Row, and the list goes on and on. We'll see how it's going to go. Once we see the compositions line up for this push map, we'll be able to tell, I'll be able to tell what their focus is, what their plan of attack is. I also think that Leo might want to think about going in, not to the Ramatra. I think you might want to bring the Orisa out, or if you have the Wrecking Ball, be able to displace the backline a little bit more. It has had wonderful engages. I want to give a lot of credit to Leo because they are doing the Lord's work right now in the tank role, and unfortunately are just getting burned down. Like everybody on Fisher that's the what is it, the game from way back in my day, the snake, the blip, and it goes up and everybody turns and faces and just absolutely melts them down. Metal Gear Solid is the game that I was thinking of.
There you go.
My old brain. Some days I'm on it. Some days I'm just.
That's a throwback game. I mean, that's a throwback game, though. So all credit to you for remembering that. That's such a throwback game.
But you can hear that sound in your head with the exclamation point going over his head. You can totally hear that. But, I mean, that's what Fisher's done. They've turned on Leo every time he's engaged into the back line, trying to do exactly what I said to do, and trying to burn down Mikan and Abs and taking away the support. It has not worked out all the time for poor Leo. But we're going to Canada, my former homeland. I've said it before. I will say it again. I really want a 3D printed image of this hockey statue. On the hockey player. Makes me happy. We do see the wrecking ball. Okay, I like that. Waffle Iron now out onto the Zenyatta. So, damage boost with the orb is going to be impactful here. What also is going to be impactful is the fact that we've got Beans and a lot more close support. And Sendrillin has now brought out for Fisher College. They are going extremely brawl heavy.
Let's see if Kean can bring this one back, but it already starts off with a pick onto Razlito, courtesy of OW2 a couple of final blows here in this lineup. As now they're just going to have to back off in a situation where Fisher looking to see if they can just sweep the series right here, as they've already got the robot in their control about 45 seconds in.
I mean, Beans is getting a lot of work done on the Brigitte, already 40% towards rally. But when you lose Waffle Iron, I mean, it's greedy in the back line here for Waffle Iron. I think that Lucio would probably be a better choice here, either that or answering an Ana, being able to sleep the ball, ante the ball up, pull out the protection Suzu from Fisher College to be able to work on the back path.
Let's see, now Leo's able to get Keller, who gets a little overzealous with the rest of his picks, cannot dash the team, so now Fisher's down one here. But they trade that out right away. A tank for a DPS ain't a bad trade if you're Fisher, so this could still be a push you really want here. But now you get rid of Abs to the same token. Becomix is in your back line. Watch out, both of your supports are gone. And so now Kane's going to be on the upper hand here, and they're going to be able to take control back of this bot. This is the Doomfist is going to stay alive, though.
Adaptation, though. I mean, look at Waffle Iron and Beans. They've already swapped their heroes out, and Beans is already 75% Coalescence.
Already up to 70% on that Coalescence, or rather Beans is 80% on the way. Waffle Iron at the same token, 70%. Leo able to get a kill onto Sarah, though. Again, another DPS gone here, but if Fisher can find a way to get rid of Leo, that'd be great news. Unfortunately for them, they don't have that. Protection Suzu going to be used very early on. Sleep Guard is used. Bionate at the same token, but it's a great Protection Suzu to cleanse all of that effect from the Bionate anyways. Now the Coalescence is out from Beans, is able to find one pick onto Abs. And remember, movement speed decreased a little bit, but you can still fade in the middle of it. Doesn't need the fade anyways during the Coalescence at the same token, but now it's Beacon in the back line trying to do some damage with the Kiriko, and in fact, this is going to bring them all the way back from the brink, and now Fisher is going to be able to take control back of the bot.
But I mean, look, they're already getting positive momentum going through the changes that they've got. And what, Becomix, where you go? Where the Tracer do? What the Tracer do? Oh man, Nanoblade into this fight, Keegan, and they've got the answer, possibly, in this Kitsune Rush coming up from Waffle Iron. Razlito is pretty close to having their own blade as well.
Well, let's see what ultimates get pulled out here. 4 minutes, just under 3 minutes gone, or rather over 3 minutes gone here. Razlito able to take away Keller, but the Genjis are traded out for right now. Leo has to back away down to almost 150 health, but has the shields up to keep it alive for right now with the rest of the team. They'll try to rush right into the back line. It's a nano-boosted soldier, and is this going to find anything? No tactical visor to help that out either, so it's still the first checkpoint gotten by Fisher at the very least with a little more meterage on it, but Kean still trying to put up a fence in the meanwhile. 2 ultimates available for Fisher, make it 2 for Kean, make it a 3rd here coming up for the landmines, but Kean won't get a chance to use it as it's already 3 down. Tac visor pulled out, blade pulled out for Fisher, just showing up some dominance here as the Falcons keep advancing.
Double support ultimate into that, or double DPS ultimate for Fisher, and you had to use the repositioning for this Doomfist as well. So empty in the cupboard except for McCann. They will have their Kitsune Rush very close. I mean, Pulse Bomb and Blade out right now.
Blade's going to come out from Razlito. Is this going to find anything? It will. On to Sarah at the very least. And now the Kiriko TP's away and headshot from Mikon. Turns it around. And it's a 2-for-2 trade. At least with that 1 ultimate gone for right now. But Waffle Iron able to take care of Keller. It's going to be a backup situation here for Fisher. And Kean gets control of the bot.
Well, Waffle Iron does trade out for the Genji, but forward spawns are activated. Lots of healing available here. Just having fun.
Oh.
Yeah, they're having fun. What a slip!
But they turn it around. Abs is able to bionate onto Becomix here. Now Leo's in a lot of trouble. So they get rid of 1 big pick onto the Tracer. They're going to be able to get back the forward, or the backward spawn still there, and forward spawn still available for Fisher at the same time. So Fisher with the comeback here on their spawn is able to force them back, and they're going to get even more meters out of this.
Enforcer! Yeah, we got Keller out on the Bastion now, so I mean, this is going to be danger. Will Robinson going in, and with no tank, deflect will last only so long, and it's going to be a great push moving forward. Kean almost takes a swim with the fishes, and there's a Kitsune rush out.
Oh, pulse bomb lands on the abs though, so that's a trade out, at least for the healer, but it might not even matter too much. Fisher's already gone off for 4. It's going to be Centrillin finding 2, Keller finding another one as well. And this is looking pretty shifty here for Kean. They got to make a comeback here as Fisher looking to complete.
Big swaps coming out from the entirety of Kean, and I mean, it's going to be a little bit too little too late. Well, I say that. Centrillin does go down.
Uh-oh,
you're
Keller
looking at a flanking Bastion. Oh, yes, here it comes.
With the Kiriko at the same time in your back line. Keller's finding Rosalito. Same token, now there's going to be the bomb out, and that's going to force out a Kitsune rush to get rid of Keller, to get rid of Mikan at the same token, so they used the Kitsune rush to win the fight, but that might have been a little expensive for them.
At what cost, though? I mean, now you're looking at 4 ultimates from Fisher College coming into this fight. The bot has not crossed that middle ground to deny the forward spawns. You've got a flanking Leo here on the Diva. I do like the pick. I think Sigma actually would be a better pick here, just to absorb a lot of that spam damage coming in from the Bastion, but artillery strike out from Keller.
Artillery strike is out. Bastion caught in the middle of it, and Bastion Pool's going to take a lot of damage out of this. And Mikan and Centrillin are just going to force them back at the same time, too. 2 kills for the support and tank duel. Pick up your back line. Leo's in a lot of trouble, down to 140 health, and nobody to heal him except for Amora to back them off. And Raslito's gone, and yet again, Fisher takes back control with 3:26 on the clock, and they're just looking to complete the map.
Self-destruct will get them at least another fight. We'll get them a remake unless they get killed before they go in, but I mean, it'll clear some space at least. And the Coalescence coming through is also going to be a good amount of sustain for them. Nano engage for Fisher College coming in.
Oh boy, this is a battle Kiriko. It forces out the Coalescence at the same time too. So now you've got the Helix Rockets out to take out Mikan, and now you've got an auto-boosted Bastion. Bastion's just gonna go brrr here. It's just gonna run away with so much damage on the clock, and now you've got the Meteor Strike out. Centrillin's found 2, maybe looking for a little bit more in your back line when both of your DPSs are gone, and Centrillin just doing work out in that back line, but still 2 minutes and 42 seconds. Spawn rooms in favor of Kean for right now, but doesn't mean the game's in favor of them either. They're now going to use the Kitsune rush out and about for Mikan to try to get themselves a lot more damage, and especially pair that up with the Bastion. That's going to be a lot of damage down. Mikan and Sarah going to add on top of that artillery strike just to save some face here, which does kill Keller, and Raslito's going to be your hero of this fight, because now they're going to have the spawn room, and now this robot's not going to be able to complete because you don't have anybody else but your Doomfist and your Kiriko. Or wait a minute, though, I might have spoken too soon. 2 minutes left to go, now they contest it, and now there's no chance. Unless they can find a way to bring this all the way back with just Centrillin gone. But nope, that's it. Centrillin is able to find Becomix, though, but very close to completing the map, I might say.
And we were like, what, 1.5 meters away from
just about that.
Here. Yeah, so, I mean, Raslito over to the Tracer now. You're looking at a situation where you've got 2 minutes. You got to make up 120 meters, and now artillery strike out again.
Artillery strike out, and the mountain looking near impossible to climb here for Kean to bring this all the way back. But you give it to Centrillin, that's not too bad. What is bad is you lose a Moira, you lose a Tracer, and you may lose an opportunity here. And Mikan's just going to take down Becoming to the 1v1. This is unreal. And now Fisher gets the bot back.
I have talked about Mikan many times on broadcasts, and they just have a lethality to them that is required in our game of Overwatch 2 now. And they are absolutely putting it on display here. Abs, I think, has really been the extra support, the main support there going in, and Kitsune Rush is going to come out again.
Kitsune Rush is used, and Kitsune Rush is going to be able to help out to find Centrillin. Down to the final minute remaining on the clock here. Abs is just going to have to turn tail and run. And now Leo finding 2 picks of their own is going to force them back. But again, the difference is 100 meters. The mountain is going to be near impossible to climb.
I mean, they got self-destruct. They're going to have Pulse Bomb into this fight. So, I mean, you did use both your support ultimates. Keller over to the Sombra now. So that's going to make Leo's life a living hell as they go in for that. I also think they're going to be looking at the backline to prevent fade and swift steps here for the supports.
Gets in a rush. Is going to get used first on Meekan's side. Sarah's going to use the tactical visor to maybe to help them out. On top of a nano boost, so everything just getting poured into this soldier who has not found a pick yet. The self-destruct is out. Is just going to find anything? No, and they get rid of Leo before anything else can happen either. So they back off the bot, knowing that they have to challenge them right there and then, and they don't have backward spawns either, so they're just going to forward. And now Fisher only 5 seconds away. There's only a Kiriko left to go who has to find a way to touch this robot. Is going to be able to force overtime for right now, but Centrillion in the back line here. It's a soldier v the world, and now it's just going to be a Diva who's not even going to get close to touching this point. And Fisher brings out the broom, is going to put themselves in a spot in the ECAC championship, winning the series 4-0.
Comprehensive out of Fisher. Adapting on the fly, absorbing pressure. Kean was absolutely dirty, and they need to be put in the timeout for their performance today because that was just filthy. I mean, look at this. That you talk about a bloodthirsty support. Well, this is exactly what I had in mind, and they got the work done. And it's on the back of Abs and Kean once again. They are the reason why this Fisher team is so good, and they were, I mean, you know, full credit to your Kean University, but man, I mean, they were up against it, and it's a 4-0 sweep here for your Fisher squad. And, man, Fisher College looking pretty damn good right now.
Yeah, Fisher looking good, and they are looking good to go into the ECAC championships as well. Both of the semifinals here in the ECAC lining up as a 4-0 games. Ball State Red, your number 1 seed, taking down the Albany, the Great Danes, 4-0 there. So it's the Cardinals and the Falcons, a battle of the birds in the championship game coming up as well. Third place game is going to be between Albany, number 5 seed, and the number 2 seeded Kean. So it's going to be a very interesting setup coming up next week for the ECAC championship and third place games. We're going to take a short break, and when we come back, we'll see if we can get an interview from the winning team and the team headed to the ECAC championship of Fisher. You're watching the ECAC playoffs on Esports U.
Getting ready to cast some players. No, not cast, interview. Change your mindset, change your mindset.
Words.
No, but last words until we come back.
Oh, okay.
Because we're leaving.
Enjoy.
Oh, that was good. That was good. Anything from you?
How are we doing, Polly?
Awesome. Thank you so much for your time.
That's why we're here, right? This is why a lot of people are trying to figure out, how do we replicate what you guys are doing? How do we, how do they do what you guys are doing to a degree, or why are you guys doing what you're doing to a degree? But to kind of, I think, focus in then a little bit more. I want to talk about gameplay a little bit before we jump into business and all of the other stuff. Jensen, this one's for you, right? I want to talk a little bit about this because to someone like me who's traditionally a League of Legends fan and all that, I know that you've been a coach that's been all over the world. You've worked with a lot of different professional teams and different regions. My question, I think a lot of people want to know, how did you end up at Maryville, and why a North American collegiate college? What was the draw, or what brought you here? How did you get to this point?
When I first came to NA, I worked with Immortals, with the academy team, and I realized that there's a lot of cultural challenges that exist that's very unique to NA and esports, right? Where there's this very interesting intersection, because unlike traditional sports, in esports, players, they don't start training under a structure or a system or a coach. From a very early age, which is what happens if you want to pick up any other sport, right? Like you start going to community events or whatsoever, and then you start developing your skills and your literacy of the game from the age of 6 or 7, and you're very used to working in a team environment, a coaching environment. But in esports and for League of Legends, a lot of times players, they go through they go up, they climb the ranks in solo queue where everything is basically self-taught, and then all of a sudden they need to be placed into a team environment. And I realized that this is something that the Asian teams got right, where they had these B teams. They have the B houses in Korea and Taiwan. You would spend almost close to a year just being a understudy or training partner for the team before you even join an academy team in the first place. And in China, they have like these massive B team systems with like lots of players in them. The moment you hit a certain rank on the ladder, they fly you in. You are then boot camping for a month there at the facility, and depending on how well you do, they then decide whether to retain you on as a training partner or as a trainee in whatever capacity, given how well you perform in those scenarios. So the West was very lacking in all of this, and culturally to do the same things and try to replicate the B house environment or what they do in China or Taiwan would not be possible to do. But the West has a very successful model of developing sports and talent, especially in America, and that is in the collegiate space. So I looked at this, I saw the resources that was available, and when Dan, when Clerky pitched his vision to me, it's like, yeah, this is what I think should be the future for development in the NA ecosystem for esports.
Oh, right on. I think, well, maybe let's follow up on that a little bit then. Because Dan, okay, so Dan, you pick up Jensen, you've got this going. I think that's going to be my question then is, or to any other schools that want to be competitive like you guys on that level, is this something that we should be expecting to see in the future, right? Is this now, the standard that you guys, Jensen, you and Dan, do you guys feel that this, if every college across the nation starts doing this, if they start, recruiting coaches like Jensen and trying to build this atmosphere, is this going to be the next standard, or is this something that's very successful that obviously it's proven to work, but is it sustainable? Is it possible for everyone, or maybe not everyone, but right, the greater sense of the industry and the ecosystem? How do you guys feel about that?
It's a dream of mine, obviously, to get to a point in the future where every university has an esports team that's taken seriously, and every day they report to practice. It's an improvement-driven mindset across the whole program. I think for me, though, like, the reason isn't necessarily like to see like a March Madness with millions of dollars flowing through it. For me, it's a little bit more simpler than that. The reason why this is my vision is just because it's best for player development and just players in general. What we see in tier 2 ecosystems almost across the industry, that's like below academy, I would say, like right before you, I would consider academy professional, because you're making a higher salary than exists in a lot of semi-pro sports, actually. But in the tier 2 ecosystem, you kind of go from like your parents' bedroom making no money on a Discord server with a coach that hasn't been certified by any national body, to playing academy, and that's horrifying to me. So while I don't see collegiate as being, or maybe it does end up being this way, but it doesn't have to be the definitive path to pro. I want it to at least be an option, like a parallel option, similar to how you can go through the Canadian hockey system, where you can choose to spend a couple extra years developing and maturing physically and emotionally in the NCAA model before you go to the show in the NHL. I'd like to see that reality in esports. This isn't something where there's a century of history to the competition. So it's a very powerful tool, especially when you're trying to convince your parents that this is a worthwhile pursuit, that you can get a college degree. And it's one of those things where, at least in America, with how expensive college is, getting scholarships after your 18 to 20-year-old years is usually harder academically. You usually get the majority of your scholarships going into school when you're an 18-year-old freshman, and the way that the current path to pro is set up, a lot of players are foregoing that span of time to try to go pro for no pay. And so for me, it's more about like a health of a pipeline, health of the ecosystem, health of kind of the player experience of pursuing this, and that's the big thing for me. And obvious it's a dream. I want Maryville to serve as like a case study and a model for that. We want to show results. We want to eventually be competing to win proving grounds, to show that this can be a functional alternative to the traditional tier 2 within esports, and that's what we strive for every year.
And I can add to that a little bit, just from a business perspective. I think we're very fortunate to have Jensen and Dan.
Welcome back, everybody, inside of the booth. Clutch Key alongside Chef Billy, and joining us from the winning team of the Fisher Falcons headed to the ECAC championship round. It's going to be Keller coming from the Falcons here. And Keller, welcome into the booth. And how does a win feel like that 4-0 sweep on the new patch, mind you? Patch happening just yesterday, but new patch, new kind of, I mean, not a lot of character changes, but still nonetheless, how does it feel to have the first win after the patch?
It feels great. We're still adjusting, but we definitely felt pretty confident, so it was good.
All right, so I mean, pretty comprehensive out of you guys. I've seen you. I've seen your team across quite a few competitions. really looked like you were just kind of answering what Kean was going to throw out to you. Did you guys feel any pressure other than maybe the one fight at Kings Row where they got a very quick duplicate and turned the fight in their favor?
Yeah, I think Ilios was a little rough because we haven't really played it all in the new patch, so we were sort of figuring out what we wanted to play. And obviously we came out on May, which is sort of close range, and they were playing Echo and Pharah, so we had to adjust a little bit. But I think in the last two maps especially, we pretty much had them figured out, so we were playing really confidently, and I think we definitely felt very confident toward the end.
I gotta get a little follow up here. I said I was only going to ask one question, but I gotta ask, who's going to be your Life Weaver main?
Oh God. I think Mikan might technically have dibs because he's sort of like less mechanically intensive. In terms of like the main team, I know Carter's already claimed it, Neb, because he just claims every new hero. He's a main support player. He just claimed Kiriko. He was like, yeah, Kiriko's probably going to be a main support. She wasn't, but he still played her, so.
It's still going to, I mean, there's another support to come later on this year as well. So this is going to be the year of Neb, if anything, if that's the case.
Oh, yeah, he will claim every support that comes out.
Awesome. Yep. Expected.
But again, Keller joining us inside of the booth here from the winning team of the Fisher Falcons, 4-0 against their opponents of Kean, advancing on to the ECAC Championships, by the way, coming up on April 26th. And speaking of that championship round, you guys are going to go up against I would say a familiar foe in Ball State, the Cardinals versus you guys coming up here, coming up 2 weeks from now, again on April 26th. Talk about confidence early on. How confident are you guys to take on this Ball State team headed for the ECAC ship?
Well, we played them last time, and I think we got either a 3-0 or a 4-0, whichever length of the series we were playing. So I think we feel definitely confident, but don't want to go in unprepared either. So we'll make sure we're strong enough to make our expectations happen for sure.
And we'll see if that expectation lands up in an ECAC championship. Again, Keller joining us. Thank you very much, my friend, and we'll talk to you later and have fun with the ECAC championship game in 2 weeks.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Have a good night.
You too. Have a good one. That is Keller again from Fisher Esports there. Again, Falcons winning 4-0 on their way to a Ball State team, against a Ball State team that beat Albany 4-0 as well. As you take a look at the Ochre rankings as well, Billy, the ones that got released about 7 hours ago. Number 18, Fisher, I guess, okay, let's round it around it because they had two teams here, but 5 and 16. So 10.5 versus 18 going into this matchup here for an ECAC championship. And this game might get a little more interesting other than a 4-0 possibility of that happened last time, a 3-0 against these two teams on record here in ECAC. But this could very well change coming up.
I think so. I think that this will come down to how everybody adapts to this new Palace patch. With the minute changes that have gone around. I think that we saw some value there from Beans from Kean on the Moira. Might be showing back up into meta, especially since now Coalescence isn't necessarily a death sentence once you press the Q key. So I also think that, the little minute changes to Reinhardt may change up that bit of work as well, not being able to run, the Bastion, May, and Reinhardt comp that we're seeing a lot at the upper echelons of Overwatch play right now. So it's going to be very interesting to see how these teams really do adapt and kind of fine-tune as they approach this championship. How it's going to turn out. I'm going to make my prediction now. It's going to be 4-2 Fisher, just because I've seen a lot of competition between Ball State and this Fisher squad. So if Mikan and Abs are on their mettle once again, this is going to be a damn hard ask for Ball State.
I'll see if Ball State can come away with a victory. They are the #1 seed, but seeds don't matter here, especially in the playoffs. Fisher, number 3, Ball State, number 1, as your seeds head in to the ECAC playoffs again. It's going to be on April 26th. You do not want to miss that. What you also don't want to miss is a couple of things coming up, especially tomorrow, tomorrow on Esports U. You'll have the ECC Valorant semifinals, but All of this combination here on Esports U and throughout its networks as well, leading up to the CECC Finals, where May Madness happening at Esports Stadium Arlington, coming up between May 6th and May 7th. If you can't be there in person, check it out right here, or rather, I should say, check it out on Esports U for the entirety of the event. And for any more information, go on over to collegiatesmg.com. Thanks as well, producer Professor Layton, as well as Kelsey, our observer, and Billy, the GOAT. As always, much fun with you, my friend. As we say from the both of us, aloha, with the aloha shirts on. We say aloha and have a good rest of your night, everybody. This has been the ECAC playoffs on ECAC Esports. Take care, everybody.
Bye, y'all.
We're at the Collegiate Esports Commissioners Cup. Let's make some noise.
Oh, and it's gonna be what? Corner judges go for 1, 2, dip. He needs more. And they're doing even more here.
You gotta touch the point. Mr. College walks it in.
Toy Boy is gonna drop.
Knife him.
Right out in front.
Yeah, 3, 2, 1, running.
Never break, always fight, never quit, do it right, play the game, win it life, have no shame, there's no time, feel the pain, live the grind, I could change, in my mind, pick a lane, commit and climb, the only way to win it life, I never miss that fact, taking big.
That's so cute. UCF, and it's really cute. So I'm gonna move down here. How do we feel? The odds for UCF? What are we thinking?
They got it.
No, we got this. We got it. We got it.
Go Knights, charge on.
100%. My friend Nick is behind you. He's gonna record it. Don't look at him. You'll ruin the shot. Don't look at him. Don't look at him. Come on.
Oh, let's go! Let's go!
My smile's probably really creepy. I was just being weird.
Oh, I love being in the shadows, though. Big shout out to the shadows.
We could interview Dilly just because I think he's handsome. You weren't supposed to hear it.
Here's the thing about the event. I'm the greatest that's ever lived.
Literally true. I know him.
I think everyone knows that. I think everyone's aware of that.
Hey, do you have a VIP access badge on?
I actually have an all access.
Oh, an all access. I thought it said VIP access.
And that's only available for the best.
That's true. He's right. That's a main stage TO right there.
If this goes live, I'm suing everybody.
It's all right. A video of me, the first clip is me saying, don't put that in. And then it was the first, cut the cameras. Oh, you're recording already? Great. So this is this is Bay State versus UCF. I believe something that we saw yesterday on day one of the tournament, but instead we're going to have that run back here. I think they're fighting for a spot in Grand Finals. Anarchy, one of the best Greninja players in the United States, currently struggling against a Terry. Terry notorious for that DLC privilege, being a very strong character with some very strong abilities. Greninja, not so much, considered one of the weaker characters in the game. A Falco player, one of the best in the United States, and he just got spiked by a Terry. Same Terry that took out Anarchy literally minutes ago. UCF still up by 2 stocks. This guy is looking to rip this team apart single-handedly. That is, I mean, nuts, to say the very least. Absolutely absurd. That was a disgusting spike. I cannot believe that happened. Will you hold the microphone so I can sign this? Sorry.
For context, he's got a fan. He's actually signing something. He's so excited.
What was it like to not hear my voice for 2 minutes? For 30 seconds, maybe. What was it like? Probably bliss. I was signing a mouse pad, which is really cool. I've never done that before. Nobody's ever asked me for a signature, so I'm going to start blushing, but I'm really excited about that. And then he wants a picture. Can you take a picture of us? I said, is it bad? She went, no. I'm going to go ahead and take that as a yes.
Turns out I can't tie a tie sitting down.
What do you think is the appropriate face-to-screen ratio for a Valorant player?
Face to screen, like how?
Yeah, like how close should a player sit?
Personally, I play really, really close. I think it depends on your eyesight, but for me, I like playing close because it helps me focus on my crosshair.
Is the value of sitting close, the crosshair being the only thing in your line of sight?
Yeah, that's pretty much the main benefit of it.
It's so funny how close some of these guys sit. Oh my goodness. What do you think is the healthy face-to-screen distance for a Valorant different player.
I think it's all kind of personal preference. I guess I would consider myself like pretty close when I play because I like to like zone in on my crosshair.
It is the second person to say that. It's all about the crosshair. And then what's up with the horizontal keyboard?
I don't know, like it just kind of fits like the form when I'm close to monitor. Like I don't know, it might sound cringy, but I like to like be one with my gun, you know?
No, bro, I feel it absolutely. What is going on, everybody? I am here with some UCF fans. How are we feeling about UCF? Let's go! Let's go! We've got a bunch of UCF fans in the crowd right now. UCF, they're up by a single game. They're looking to find their third and possibly final secure a